Oh, right. Yeah, too late now. Hi, guys. We're live. Yeah, she'll look forward to that.
Buildings where we couldn't keep the walls hot and cold, you know, and this whole idea that the watchers came down and get.
Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan Goss with the Gosslings. Give your inner Christian warrior something to really gravitate towards and feed upon with Heavenly Realms, a series of 7 novels about angelic warfare written by me, yours truly. It is masculine, warrior-based.
Hey, Di, good to see you.
Biblically based, but is extremely gratifying for the warrior in all of you. It is available on Amazon in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. If you like it, leave a review. If you want signed copies, you can always email us at thegoslingsgroup@gmail.com. And I would really love to hear from you. Again, Heavenly Realms by Jonathan Goss, available on Amazon. Check it out. Take up the broken sword of your father
and strike down the darkness.
Amen. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Nick.
And we are the Gosslings, a digital speakeasy of free thinkers, Christian authors, explorers of the esoterica, and general purveyors of buffoonery.
That's right. We have an amazing interview and conversation for you. But if you would first, it really, really helps us if you would take up the broken sword of your finger, strike down that subscribe button. And while you're down there, tickle that bell.
Yeah, give that bell a gentle caress. Or keep your YouTube pimp hand strong and smack that bell. Smack it like it owes you money.
That's right. And if you
smack it like it owes you money.
First of all, thank you. But also, if you hit the like button, that would really, really help us because it shows the algorithm that you like this video and other people who have shared interests will also like it. That would help tremendously.
Yeah, that's right. Leave a comment, share it with your friends, send it to your enemies, do all the things.
That's right.
Who cares?
Who cares? And without further ado, here is this video's conversation interview. We hope you guys enjoy it.
That's right.
Your YouTube feed is crap. Stop wasting your time watching bot-boosted.
Hey, Shawnee, good to see you, mate.
Gurus cloying for your attention. Instead, join the Gosslings interview live stream and podcast. The Gosslings, a dark-lit digital speakeasy of free thinkers. A super chat of radical truth-seeking wizards who eat trolls for second breakfast. Topics that'll make your mama's hair stand on end. Ideas that'll make your pastor's knees knock. Guests that will illuminate the hidden chambers of your mind. And interviews that strike down the darkness. Welcome to the Gosslings.
Okay, so Vicky, you were doing an interview on the Understanding Conspiracy channel recently, which was fantastic, and you talked about Ben Franklin's lightning experiment. And I've always been a fan of Franklin. What's interesting is in his autobiography, he doesn't really mention anything about ever being involved with anything Masonic. There were some groups that he was a part of, but they never touch on anything like occultic. He does it in his autobiography.
Right.
But can you? But there's something really unique about the lightning experiment. Can you kind of explain what you think he was really trying to do?
Hey, boss. Good to see you, mate. Guys, my brother's just showing up and he was overseas for 7 months, so I'm going out to say hello.
Story. Be careful who you trust.
Do you know any of them?
Well, I'm in.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming out.
All things have passed away. Let us pray.
I'm Matt Scott. This is Good Morning Herald. Can I ask you a few questions?
Trauma porn. Nice.
If you write something, Shame on you.
So Byron went on a random shooting spree. Police have any other theories? My brace just says a color story.
Only there was a proper journal in town. Could dig around, see if there's anything behind why Byron did what he did.
I want to see this bigger story. What bigger story? 5 shots, 5 kills. Is that so random to you? The murderer uses his last breath to name you. I'm just trying to rescue your career by breaking over our small town tragedy.
Is there a wood also?
One day, maybe that gets out.
Somebody sends me a warning shot and I'll keep him close. Weird shit going down in the scrublands. Careful who you trust. There's nothing miracle coming to save you, Father.
It's a good story. It's not just a story to us.
Tell the truth. Do it for the town.
G'day, mate. Welcome to Australia.
So, where's the party park? It's just around the corner, but
Yeah. So I wrote a 4-part article a year or so ago for L.A. Marzulli's PP&S report, which is Prophecy, Politics, and the Supernatural. And you can only get that website paid subscription, like online magazine thing, like $20-25 a year or something. So it's a 4-part article I wrote a while ago, so I might not remember some of the exact terms and things. But anyway, these dolmens that everyone's talking about, some people will say, oh, they were grave markers or whatnot. So if you study all of the esoteric stuff, I stumbled upon some amazing articles written by an occultist who said that the dolmens were actually like antiquated operating tables, if you want to say that. And so the stones were protecting the head. So basically, and there's Egyptian drawings of this. And so the key to understanding all of this, one of the most common symbols in Egyptian is the Djed, the D-J-E-D. And it kind of looks like a chess piece. It kind of looks like a pawn with like a flat head. And it stood for like vitality or life or whatever. But basically it was an ancient battery. It was a conductor of electricity. And when you see old drawings and hieroglyphics of these dolmens, you will often see a Djed. And the Djed is placed, and then there's like a lightning rod. And what they would do is they would generate ball lightning. Oh, it's just a myth, right? It's fake. What they would do is the lightning would hit the lightning rod.
Wow, Diane.
Through this Djed, it would turn.
Diane just reading through that link. Wow.
Into a ball lightning. It would turn into a lesser frequency. If you're struck by lightning, you're going to die. But it would conduct this electricity in such a way through the stone, and the person would be laying beneath the stone under this protective stone with some sort of a halo. So even there, we see the ancient paintings where the gods and the Nephilim would have these halos, and people say, oh, well, that's the sun disk, because they worship the sun. They would wear these protective coverings.
Oh, cool, Di.
And when they were infused with this ball lightning, it would act in much the same way as the starfire and the adrenochrome, et cetera, et cetera. And it would actually prolong their life and preserve their youth. And it had a host of other medical benefits, right? And so when Franklin was around, he did not invent electricity. People already understood electricity. The lightning jar was already a thing before Franklin started doing his experiments. And so when he was out there, he didn't just have a kite and a key. He also had one of these lightning bottles. There was a name to it, but it's been a couple of years since I wrote the article, wrote the article, so I can't remember the name of these. But it's where we get our lightning in a bottle, if you do the etymology on that phrase. And it's a way of literally capturing that electricity or that energy in this bottle. And he wasn't inventing electricity because electricity was already invented. They already knew what that was at that point. He was attempting to harness it. And we don't know exactly from his own writings, okay, was he an occultist? Was he a Mason? What we don't know. We do know he was part of the Hellfire Club. And so if you go into the study of the Hellfire Club and some of the things that he was doing over in France, underground, et cetera, I have enough evidence in my own mind anyway, that given the esoteric knowledge that he would have had from that secret society, the Hellfire Club, and the fact that he's traipsing around in a thunderstorm with a bottle, leads me to believe that there's many quotes of Franklin where he talks about longevity of life and not reincarnation. There's a quote, and I have it in the article. It's far too complex for me to quote it verbatim, but he basically has a quote that if mankind is the most sophisticated of all of God's creation, why would God destroy it? And it was basically it was an early transhumanist type of a response. He was basically trying to prove the point that immortality could be obtained. So I don't think that he was trying to invent electricity. I think he was trying to invent immortality. He was trying to capture that lightning in a bottle.
I can see that. For anybody who may be uninitiated, that we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? I'm sorry, I can't every time. Illuminate people as to what the Hellfire Club is.
Well, I don't know too much about it. I just know that back in
the 1700s, the posh elites from England went to this cave and they had sacrificial ceremonies and things like that. The Hellfire Club.
Early American times, it was a type of a society. You know, I had done a bunch of research on it back when Stranger Things came out, because I'm like, what in the world are they trying to trivialize the Hellfire Club for? So I don't really remember offhand. I didn't do tons of research on it, but I was able to confirm that Ben Franklin was a part of that society.
So with lightning in a bottle, with this ball lightning condensed down into a container that could then be repurposed for some sort of adrenochrome-esque longevity or rejuvenative kind of property, is there any theory as to how he would actually employ that? Like, would you have to go into a domain? Is that what it is? And like ritualistically have it be transmuted through that sort of thing to you, or was there another way to absorb it?
So
with Kingspan water tanks, everything is possible.
So I think that the dolmen was in antiquity, and by the time Franklin came along, I think they were trying other less, public and less complex and less dangerous, because there were people that got electrocuted and died from that. And so I think he was in an experimentation phase, but let it not be mistaken, from the beginning of time, there are people that have harnessed ways of...
Wow, Diane, with the Americans with their jet airplanes, This is really it, guys, isn't it? This is a real big one. Wow.
Of there have been fountain of youth ideas, beginning of time, that continue to this day.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about the fountain of youth, that's not really some fountain where you drink water. That's a very PG-13 version. These elixirs of the gods were often blood. And if you go into, and Gary Wayne writes about this, the starfire, and I can never pronounce the name of the goddess, but the menstrual blood of Ninkershag, or whatever her name was, it was because it was goddess worship. The whole Queen of Heaven and Inanna, Aphrodite, kind of stuff. It wasn't this, nowadays we think of like adrenochrome, and we think of children, or we think of virgins. In antediluvian times, it was the menstrual blood of royal bloodlines, and that was the properties that would, along with ritual black magic, would create these elixirs that would prolong life and youth, and it had other healing properties, etc., etc. And I believe that stuff is still available today. They have new methods. You're not out under big, henges and stuff anymore. But even if you study the whole history of like Prometheus and like the Promethean fire, what was this fire that was stolen and given to mankind? Was it really that we learned how to make matches and campfires, or was that fire that was stolen from the gods and given to man some sort of an energy that prolonged life and made mankind like the gods? It was probably that Promethean.
Okay, so the fountain of youth was adrenochrome in blood. Wow.
Fire, the legends of lightning, and this whole concept of the lightning bolt symbols in the occult and all of that. It's all related to this Promethean fire and the lightning, which I think has far more to do with immortality than it does with we learned how to carve wheels and make campfires.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the menstrual blood thing. That must have a lot of merit in the occult, because and I had to look it up to be sure, but it reminded me of the only Anne Rice novel I've ever read, Memnoch the Devil. And in Memnoch the Devil, it's narrated by Lestat. And then at the end, he's so drained or beaten or whatever that the character that he's chasing after, this girl named Dora, who is a devout Christian. Apparently, I think she's like the daughter of a drug lord. And I can't remember if she has some sort of mystical lineage to her or not, or whatever it is. But that is, like, without being too graphic, that is how he regains his rejuvenative power in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
yes.
So somebody knows about it, because Anne Rice knew about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and wittingly or unwittingly,
I read a lot of Anne Rice. She was a good writer.
So does Stephanie Myers. You look you look at something as silly as the Twilight series, right? Mm-hmm. And you had all these moms who were just as excited about it as the little girls, and I don't know if they just missed it or they were so under the spell of Edward Cullen they didn't care. But if you go towards the very end of that book, and it's I can't remember if it's portrayed in the movie or not, but when Bella is giving birth to the demigod, the half vampire, the half human, she can't do a normal delivery, and he basically eats the child out of the womb. Mm-hmm. He eats the passageway out. And so here again we have this antediluvian concept of the star fire. Mm-hmm. And what happens after she gives birth? She becomes this vampire. She becomes immortal, after the flow of blood. And so,
that's what your 14-year-old girls are reading, by the way.
That's right.
Not mine. Not his, yeah.
Yeah, that is. And so, at the end of this love story, they'll walk away into the woods, glittery and immortal. But the fact of the matter is, it was through the drinking of the
Yeah, the menstrual blood placenta kind of aspect of.
exactly.
Boy,
Yeah. That's my
favorite chapter. No.
Yeah, yeah. So you've always got these elements of blood and death and children and the birth, the womb. You've got the womb there, which is another huge symbol of all of this. And then what's the result of this bloody womb and this drinking of the blood? Immortality. It's the starfire. It's the big secret that immortality comes through the shedding of blood. And I mean, it even says in the scripture that the life is in the blood, and you've got the shedding of blood. That what does the shedding of Christ's blood do for us?
Washes away our
Gives us
sins.
eternal life. It's all about immortality.
Hey, Brian, good to see you, mate.
Well, and as medical science progresses, they're already looking at harvesting stem cells from not just embryos, but from placenta.
Oh man,
as
that's
well,
not what I'm
to do
taught.
their research. So as they advance more and more, it would not surprise me to see medicines being advertised for rejuvenation, maybe prolonging of life. Right? There's going to be more research in all of this. So my question to you is: at what point does acceptable medicine become really pharmakia? At what point is it pharmakia and forbidden?
In a way, it already is. I can't remember which Hollywood couple it was, but there was one Hollywood new dad who had talked about after they had their kid, the doctors, of course, because it's Hollywood, made the placenta into a soup for them to eat.
Yeah.
Discover, please, where you will treasure.
So disgusting. Well, and here's what, and you can't write this down. Well, and here's what's interesting. They say that the whole Roman civilization, which we built and patterned America after, was basically destroyed through vanity and licentiousness. So all of the vats that they had their alcohol and their wine in were made of lead, and all of the makeup that the women wore was lead-based, like paint. And so they basically all died of lead poisoning because they were drinking and all the seduction of the makeup and all that. And so when you look at stuff, it's not just the medicine that can be pharmakia. One of the things that surprised me is, all these people that are talking now about, oh, I can't have gluten. It's not just stuff they can't eat. The gluten is in shampoo and deodorant and face creams and all this stuff. And so you don't have to just ingest it. If it's rubbed into the skin, it can hit the bloodstream, et cetera, et cetera. So
like aluminum in your deodorant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is some sort of Mandela effect or something, you guys, but I remember back around 1995, and the Christian community was up.
That's their audio, guys, not mine.
Because they started putting collagen in a whole bunch of bath and beauty products, in shampoo, in moisturizers, and they were touting that the face creams with collagen in it was reversing aging and taking away wrinkles, and women could look 20 years younger and all this stuff. And it was found out that the collagen was taken from stem cells in the umbilical cords of basically aborted babies. And so the Christian community was banning everything that had collagen in it, and they were looking at the labels and whatever. And what I tend to think is that for the sake of the consumers, they probably started taking collagen off of the ingredient labels. They probably started calling it something else. But I don't believe for 2 seconds, because I wasn't born yesterday, that aborted fetal tissue isn't in almost everything.
Yeah.
In our shampoos, our facial stuff, are in We know from the, is it HEC 293? I always say HEC 296, but I think it's HEC 293. It's the human embryonic kidney. This is in all sorts of, they just label it natural flavors on foods. Natural flavors can sometimes mean HEC 293, which means there's human embryonic kidney cells from aborted babies in that food. Now, that doesn't mean we're cannibalizing, we're eating babies. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. What the cells do is they flip on and off taste receptors in our tongue. And so something that might not taste delicious naturally, it's almost like instead of they flip things on that affect your brain so that you have a sense that something tastes better than it is. And so it's not that they're chopping up a baby and sticking it burger. It's just, that they have these cells. And what's scary about that is if you've got cells, if you're ingesting DNA, there's so many different possibilities for why this is nefarious, other than just the fact that you're ingesting it. And so the fact of the matter is, at what point is this going to become pharmakia? My answer to that would be 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, even 10 years ago, Sandra Bullock was on Ellen or Oprah or somebody talking about how like this wonderful face cream that she was wearing was literally made from the foreskins of babies.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
Yeah.
that's how outlandish, that's how brazen they are now. So yeah, you're probably right. You've probably been there for at least 20, 30 years.
So what's the response? I mean, most people just didn't know it.
The Amish.
But now we know, like,
to be Amish.
What is the response though as Christians? Is it to stop buying stuff that might have this in it, to research and learn what does and doesn't have it? Like, where do you, at what point are you guilty?
I know, and I talk about this a lot because it's kind of getting to the point where unless you want to live in a field, buck naked and eat grass and drink rainwater, I mean, it's
keep talking, like, yes.
Yeah, that sounds good so far. Keep going.
Yeah.
No cell phone, sounds good.
Yeah, no cell phones.
No cell phone. And it's interesting because it's like, we know from the Amish and movies like The Visit, it doesn't work because as long as you've got fallen man, there's always gonna, the enemy's within, right? And so, but I just think about how we were initially created to live in an agrarian society. We had our own little plot of land and our own home. And, I used to always think, oh man, how did people live back then? They would have been freezing. They would have, how would they have kept warm? But if you actually study like the thermodynamics of like underground temperature, these people that were living in caves and stuff, it was perfectly cool in the summer. And it was, it was warm there in the winter. Like freezing and being hot only became a problem when we started building all these exterior buildings where we couldn't keep the walls hot and cold, and this whole idea that the Watchers came down and gave us all of this knowledge, what they did is they took us out of nature and put us in these cities, in these prisons, with all of like the buildings that were difficult to insulate and the crowding and I just read something recently. It was so fascinating. It wasn't a Christian article, and it was a psychological article that the way the brain is designed, like the capacity that we have for socialization is capped out at about 250 people. Like,
it's called Dunbar's number. You only have
is that what that is? Okay.
Dunbar's number says I think it's Dunbar's number. You only have room in your head for a certain amount of faces. Which is
I've never heard that before. That's interesting.
Reason why military groups always hover around the same numbers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like
I never knew that.
Pulls, 80, 160 guys, cohorts, 480 platoons. Yeah, to your point. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so now you look at that, you stick us in these cities. Yeah. We see more than 250 people a day. social media, you're friends with all these people you've never met, and you're trying to keep up with all of them, and you're trying to remember their names and their birthdays. And oh my goodness, if you're not on Facebook, you're not going to remember everyone's birthday. And so, you know, then you get all these texts like, I feel bad you forgot my birthday. You know, and so, so we're being inundated. And so I guess my initial answer is, how do you turn it all back? How do you stop the freight train at this point? Now, I know that we can move on land and garden and drink raw milk and own our own cow, but I know that there's people that can afford to do that. But the majority of people can't move rural and start up a whole huge complicated homestead, and it's a massively complex learning curve, and not everyone can do that. I mean, I just hear my friends talk about, oh, my tomato plant failed this year because I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And I'm like, well, that's just one plant. And all of a sudden you're supposed to be making your own soap and your own shampoo and your
it's a lot.
I don't know how to turn it. It is. It's overwhelming. And so, like, there are certain things that I will boycott. Like, there's certain places I won't go anymore. It's a very limited number, because I think for all the places that I do go, I don't know what they're up to. I don't know who's running the show. I don't know what their belief system is. And, you know, every June, when it is a requirement of all of the companies to go woke, you understand everybody's in this. So, and even your own church half the time is in it. So,
oh my gosh, tell me about it. Yeah.
So how do you live in the world and amongst the world? How, I guess the question is, what does it mean to depart Babylon in our generation? Like, what does that mean? And it might mean different things for different people. Some people are going to take it to more of an extreme than other people. Some people have more freedom. If you're married with 6 kids and living on a small income, and you have 2 college loans and a car loan, you don't have as many options as someone who's single and makes 6 figures a year. You know, so not everyone has the luxury. Not everyone out there who's a single mom because their husband died can do all this. You know, plant the gardens and live on their own land and homeschool all the kids. It's not an option for everybody. So it's a really hard question to answer. And, you know, my family's been trying to answer that question for the last 10 years. And we have been able to make a lot of sweeping adjustments. But there's a point, too, where you just get too old, where you don't have the energy to be up on some rural property chainsawing down, you know, 400-pound trees when a rainstorm knocks it down and blocks your road. I mean, there's only so much we can do.
Yeah.
This cake topping will make any cake taste amazing this Christmas.
I've had a couple friends who have they're probably, I think, 8 years younger than me, and they tried the homesteading thing. And I think, Nick, you've talked about it before too.
Yep.
Like, you're just sitting there watching. You're like, oh boy, like, because they're so like self-righteous about it.
Yeah.
And they get out there and they're gonna homeschool and they're gonna raise all their own crops and have all these farm animals and everything. It's like
5 years in,
they're
miserable, and they're ready to sell.
5 months in, you know, all the crops aren't working. There's leaks everywhere. You know, it's just like, dude, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And if you don't know what you're doing, if you weren't raised that way, you know, and it's good to hear you say that, by the way, about, like, you know, different people can respond in different ways, because what's good for me is not good for my brother, you know, maybe. And so, like, for some people, I think exiting Babylon is just a purely internal spiritual thing of like, okay, I'm not going to watch these shows. I'm not going to go to these places, or at least not during this month. You know, I'm, or at least if I have to.
Diane, that says 300 additional troops, which means there's troops there already. Wow, I wonder how many. I think someone floated the number 2,000 troops are there. I'm not sure though.
Not going to celebrate it, and be enjoyed or enjoy the experience, But yeah, like for a lot of people, like you may have to go to Target, like
You might not have a choice.
yeah, like
Well, yeah, you can't leave Babylon unless you can identify what Babylon is.
yeah.
So a lot of it is
Right.
awareness of what does that mean? What does Babylon look like now?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to avoid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
we might get surprised because everywhere we look, we end up seeing signs of it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do I
Yeah.
do? Like you said, I can't live in the field, eat grass, and drink rainwater.
Mm-hmm. Are you looking to actualize your inner Leonidas? Are you looking to find something for the Spartan in your life? Look no farther than Jardani Jovanovic. Jardani Jovanovic hair and skincare products made by real men for real men. Or as I like to say, be as sexy as you are deadly. Give 007 a run for his money. Awaken your inner John Wick with Jardani Jovanovic hair and skincare products. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, and there is such uh, a disparaging sort of like disconnect between what we all think is ideal and what we should be doing, and then what we're actually doing, even if we're capable of doing more. So I always joke with my friends who are like, the food is genetically modified, it's poison, and then they're slogging back Red Bulls, and it's like, well,
Yeah,
if
right.
you know that, and so, and there's a lot of stuff I know this is not good for me. This is absolutely the worst thing I can be putting in my mouth right now. Past the Twinkies,
Right. Yeah. It's either that or I go crazy.
Well, Jesus said it's not what goes into a man's mouth that makes him unclean. It's what comes out of his heart. That's what corrupts a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we have probably another hour. I think it's 5 o'clock. We could probably go till about 6 o'clock. I'd like to spend. I know this has been like the focus of why we were all gathered here today, but we've had such a great time, like talking about so much other stuff. Vicky, you think we could take like half an hour and talk about the Black Awakening, and then take half an hour and talk about altars in the church?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Yep.
I want to give a shout out to American Cars, one of our patrons. He hooked me up with a copy of Russ Disdar's The Black Awakening. Major shout out.
I've got Russ Dizdar, The Black Awakening after this, guys. In fact, I might get to it now because this is a little bit slow, isn't it? Should I go to Russ Dizdar's Black Awakening?
Out to my buddy American Cars for hooking me up with this, because like you cannot find these things anywhere. So like if anybody wants to like join the Patreon and then sell me their like extremely hard to find rare out of print books, like dude, I'm a total sucker for it. But truly, like I think you can maybe find this in PDF, but truly the only place I could find online that had a copy of this for sale was in Sweden. It was in a Swedish library, and they.
Well, Diane, you guys are in a vulnerable position in the Middle East, or like 2,000 here, 800 there. That's very that's stretching the line very thin. Hey, Chris, good to see you, mate.
Not ship overseas. Like I would have had to have this shipped to Adam Burrell and then pay him to ship it to me. And even then, like the book itself would have cost like $500.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So why is this book so hard to find, and why is this important?
Okay, so shortly after Russ died, all of a sudden the book was no longer available. And you could find copies on Amazon for like 500. I've seen it up to 900. And the official story we got, which I really didn't believe at first, but it's the only story I'm getting, is that the publishing house, which is Lulu Publishing, it's a vanity press, which means they'll publish anything if it makes them money. But supposedly they said we're no longer supporting the content of this.
Diane, they go after your guys in the Middle East. Biden's got to get involved in a big way. This is really the Palms 83 war, isn't it?
But we're not printing it anymore, which I don't know if it's true or not. It's just the story I'm hearing. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. There was a PDF version available for a brief period of time, but it was unauthorized. And when the estate found out, they put the kibosh on that because none of the money for the sales was going to the actual estate. It was, it was not done correctly, but that's been rectified within actually the last month or two. So there's no PDF available either. So it is a rare find, and every once in a while, because folks that through the block are always scouring the web for these, and every once in a while we'll find one on Aid Books or something, and we'll snatch it up as quickly as we can, so that when people ask for it, we've got some copies. But if you've got it, you're an extremely lucky person, because they're out of print. So.
Yeah.
And the fact that it happened so quickly after Russ died.
Okay, that's a little bit slow, guys. Where is it? Black Awakening, Part 1.
The other soldiers had to stop them. They had to shoot. It was the only...
Oh, that's a big one. 6.6. Yeah. Yeah, man.
The prophetic future. The Black Awakening, Part 1. The prophetic future. Unless those days are shortened, no flesh would be left. Jesus of Nazareth.
Okay, I didn't realise he was going to do a book reading of The Black Awakening. That's sort of risky for copyright reasons. I might give this one a miss. Okay, let's give this a go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your Bible Questions Answered. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas Camp. Looking forward to getting into your questions today. If you want to submit a question, you can do it right here in the chat while this show is going live, or you can also download the Way Congregation app, and you can put your question in the chat during the week, and I will get to it. So if I don't get to your question this week, put it in. I'll do my very best to get to it next week. Let's jump into the questions, because we have a lot of great questions. These are coming from the app, in case you're wondering where I'm getting these questions. There's some really good questions, and I'm looking forward to taking a look at these. The first one is coming from Iris. She says, is the book of the covenant and the book of the law the same book? Iris, great question. So let's understand, this is a common misconception that people often have, is that covenant and law are the same thing. Now, what happened at Mount Sinai was a covenant, right? And there was a covenant made between God and Israel. We see this in Exodus. God tells them in Exodus 19, hey, get ready because I'm going to come on down, right? And so God comes down. He's got this amazing fireworks show. He then speaks the 10 words and 10 commandments, and the people are afraid, and they say to Moses, you go up, all right? Better that you go. So Moses goes up, he comes back down, and he tells them, they say, all that the Lord has said, we will do, right? We do this in Exodus 24. And that is where God and Israel enter into a covenant marriage relationship. Now, in case you're wondering, where do I get this idea that we're actually looking at some kind of a marriage contract? Let's go to Jeremiah 31, 32, actually. He says, he's going to make a new covenant, but not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. My covenant, which they broke, though I was a husband to them, says the Lord. All right, so what was that covenant? It was a marriage contract. And then he says he's going to make a new covenant. And guess what he's going to put in their hearts and minds? He's going to put his law. So this word right here, law in the Hebrew, it's the word Torah. Right? So Torah and law, Torah and instructions is the same. Right? Law, instructions, Torah. But it's different than covenant. That's the word brit in Hebrew. There are two different ideas, even though they contain some similar language. But the covenant that God made with Israel back at Mount Sinai was a marriage contract. That marriage, sadly, ended in divorce, not because God did anything wrong, but because Israel was unfaithful. Israel kept going after false gods. In fact, we see that right away in the book of Exodus, where Israel went after the golden calf, right? And that was just the beginning of Israel going after these false gods. We see this many, many places, but it is certainly pronounced.
Gabe, shut the back door!
That because of his
so the dog
lives,
doesn't hassle the river snipper.
Solomon, but he was certainly influenced, and he made all kinds of high places that were actually in the area of Gay or Ben Valley of Hinnom, right? And he made this place called the Mountain of Corruption, and he sacrificed to Molech, to Kemosh, right? To all these terrible gods that the nation sacrificed. Yeah, Solomon did that. And so then God said after that, okay, that's it. I'm going to split the kingdom in two. I'm going to give Israel, the 10 tribes of Israel, I'm going to give that to Jeroboam. But because of
the lawnmower man's here, guys, so the dog's barking at him.
It promises to David.
Silly dog, Moo Moo. Silly doggy.
Solomon's kids. So that's essentially what happened. Then it continued to spiral out of control in the northern kingdom, and God finally said, "Okay, that's it. We're getting divorced." And we see that in the book of Hosea, chapters 1 and 2, and then of course in Jeremiah, we see it in chapter 3. God says He gave them a certificate of divorce, and then as I just read there in Jeremiah 31, there's going to be a new covenant. And who established that new covenant? Well, God did. God incarnate, right? God in the flesh, God with us. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That's the God I'm talking about, Jesus. He came and He died to cancel the old contract and all of the stipulations and obligations and penalties that went with it. And then He rose and established a new covenant, right? And He tells us as much at the Last Supper or the the Passover dinner there, and he says that this is my body broken for you. And he says, this is the blood of the new covenant, right? So that all happened through the person of Jesus. Now, per the question, are the book of the law and the book of the covenant the same? They're probably different in that nuance that I just explained. Okay, now some people want to say, well, because it's the book of the covenant or the book of the law, then it maybe doesn't apply to me. But as we just saw there in Jeremiah 31:32, God says he's going to write his law, his Torah, on our hearts. In which covenant? In the new covenant. All right, so that's just something to think about. All right, thank you, Iris. That really was a great question. All right, I would ask the question. He says, could you please explain Revelation 2:9?
Okay, guys, I might switch on to that Muslim guy that Shawnee posted a link to. You know what I'm talking about. You watch. Yeah, this is it. This guy.
Than Allah and Jesus, because it's your God that.
It's because of there's a Quran verse 7:157.
Yep.
And yeah, it says, and I understood that verse to mean that Muhammad is still like in the Bible.
Oh yeah.
That you guys have Jews and Christians.
That's actually a verse we use to prove that the Quran testifies the Bible is not corrupt, because it says the Torah and the Gospel with them. But see, this is the problem. Yeah. Because you think the Quran is the word of Allah and Muhammad is a true prophet. If the Quran says Muhammad is in the Torah and the Gospel, he's going to be there. If he's not there, that means the Bible is corrupt. No, that's reverse logic. If the Quran says Muhammad is mentioned in the Torah and the Gospel of the Jews and Christians at the time of Muhammad, and we have copies of the Torah and the Gospel, we know what it looks like, showing that what we have today is what they read back then. And there is no prophecy of Muhammad. That's why we reject Muhammad. See, this is the thing. You're doing the reverse. Oh, Muhammad's not in the Bible, the Bible's corrupt. No. It's because Muhammad is not in the Bible, the Quran is false. You got it reversed. Okay. You mean wait, hold on, you got a problem. Muhammad, you're gonna now bury the Quran. You mean the same Genesis that the Quran says Jesus confirmed between his hands? So Jesus knew less than you and you're smarter than Jesus? Go to chapter 3, verse 50. You just blasphemed Jesus. You just insulted Jesus.
I didn't blaspheme Jesus.
Yes, you did. Because in chapter 3, verse 50, it says Jesus confirmed that Torah between his hands. And the only Torah the Jews had is the Torah that has Genesis 1 and 2, which you just said is full of contradictions, means that you're smarter than Allah and Jesus, because it's your God that inspired Jesus to confirm. Okay, read it. Read 350.
And a verifier of that which is before me of the Torah, and that I may allow you part of that which has been forbidden to you. And I come to you with a sign from the Lord. Therefore, be careful with your duty to Allah.
Okay, so
okay, the audio is pretty bad on that.
Allah. So let's begin with Ruh Allah. He just said Allah, there's nothing like unto him. The Quran says that's a lie. Why? Because the Spirit is exactly like Allah. Because the Quran says Allah breathes out the Spirit. So the Spirit is not part of creation. The Spirit can appear as a man. He can speak and be spoken to. And he creates and gives life. So I hope Yahya makes the mistake in saying that Ruh is Jibreel alayhi salam. I hope. So I'm going to wait for him to rebut me, because we're going to have fun with the Quran by the grace of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Let me show you that the Spirit is not part of creation. Allah breathes out the Spirit. That means it comes out of him. Now, unless he believes that Allah has parts that are created, nothing that comes from Allah can be creation. Chapter 66, verse 12 of the Quran. Mary, Imran's daughter, who guarded her virginity. We breathe into her of our spirit. So the Spirit came out of Allah, chapter 15, verses 28 to 29. When thy Lord said to the angels, see, I am creating a mortal of a clay, of mud molded. When I have shaped him and breathed my Spirit into him. Breathe my Spirit into him. Now, chapter 19, verses 16 and 21. Mentioned in the book Mary, when she withdrew from her people to an eastern place, and she took a veil apart from them. We sent unto her our Ruh. I hope he doesn't say it's the angel Jibreel. I hope. For his sake, I want to be merciful to him. Then we sent unto her our Spirit that presented himself to her a man without fault. So the Spirit appears as a man without fault, a perfect looking man. She said, I take refuge in the All-Merciful from thee. Thou fearest God. He said, I am but a messenger. I am Rasul of your Lord to give you the ahabba. I will give you a boy most pure. So the Spirit comes to Mary, appears as a man, tells her, I'm going to give you a son. How? Well, that's where 66:12, so the tahrim comes in. Allah then sent that Spirit, breathed the Spirit out of himself to enter Mary to cause her to get pregnant. So who created the life in Mary? The Ruh. The Ruh comes from what? Not creation, out of Allah as his breath. So the Spirit creates and gives life exactly like Allah. No wonder the Quran says Allah is the best of creators, but even then he's not the best of creators, because that means there are other creators, because the Spirit is equal to him in creating. Not only is the Spirit equal to Allah in creating, so is Jesus. And why do I say Jesus? Because according to the Quran, Jesus creates exactly like Allah does and like the Spirit does. In chapter 3, verse 49 of the Quran, as a messenger to the children of Israel, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord that I create for you, the verb, create for you, from clay, the form of a bird, then I blow into it and it becomes the bird, bi'ithni Allah, by Allah's permission. And I heal the blind and the lepers and give life to the dead by Allah's permission. Bi'ithni Allah. And I'll explain what bi'ithni Allah means and what it doesn't mean. It's not quwwah. There's a difference between quwwah and to say bi'ithni Allah. But let's put that aside. Notice how Jesus creates according to the Quran. He creates the same verb, Arabic verb, create, used of Allah, creating Adam from clay. Jesus creates from clay. Allah creates from clay. Allah breathes into the clay and that.
Shawnee, I'm going to use this guy's arguments when I go trolling on Facebook with the Christian Muslim debates.
Clay comes to life. Jesus breathes into the clay and that clay comes to life. Here, chapter 15, verses 27, 35 of the Quran. We created man from clay, from black molded loam, and when I breathed on my spirit into him, kneel down and prostrate. And then later on it says, near 35, I will not bow to a mortal whom you created of dry clay, of black molded loam. So only Jesus in the Quran, among the prophets and messengers, creates like Allah from clay, breathes life into the clay and makes it a living being like Allah. And only Jesus in the Quran, among the messengers and the prophets, and Yahya can prove me wrong, no other prophet messenger gives life to the dead. In fact, giving life to the dead is only said of Allah. So now you have Allah, the Spirit, and Jesus. All of them are creators, and they create equally the same way. And by the way, for Jesus to blow life into a clay object and make it alive, that means Jesus possesses the Spirit of Allah, the Ruh Allah of Allah. Why do I say that? Because how did Allah breathe life into Adam? He breathed his Spirit into Adam. He came to life. So what is Jesus breathing? His physical breath? No, he's breathing out the Ruh. But the Ruh belongs to Allah, but now it belongs to Jesus. So no, the Quran does not teach Tawheed. Since he's a Salafi, I know he believes this. You believe the Quran is Kalam Allah. And if it's Kalam Allah, that means it's uncreated. So here's my challenge to Yahya, which he's going to have to answer, because I'm not going to let him get away with it. If the Quran is Kalam Allah, speech of Allah, one of his sifat, and Kalam of Allah is not created, speech of Allah cannot be created. You said the Quran is uncreated. Now I'm going to ask him the question, and he's got to get ready to answer. Is the Quran Allah or it's not Allah? If he says the Quran is not Allah, you have two uncreated things that are not the same, so that destroys your Tawheed. But if you say it's Allah, now you're in trouble, because if it's Allah, that means a part of Allah became a book. Yeah. Because the Quran is kitab, it's a book. So if it is Allah, Allah became a book. So when you touch your Quran, you're touching your Allah in physical form. There's no way around this, my brother, in humanity. He says he worships Allah and that Islam is the purest religion there is to mankind and the worship of Allah is pure. No, he doesn't. He smooches a black stone. So I want Yahya to explain, how does kissing, smooching, smothering a black stone comport with Tawheed al-Ubudiyya, Tawheed al-Uluhiyya? Here, let me explain what I mean. Sa'd bin Jubayr is reported to have said, I heard Ibn Abbas saying that Allah's messenger said, the stone must come on the day of resurrection. It will have two eyes to see with and a tongue to talk with, bearing witness for him who caressed it with truth. Can you hear it? And this is Hassan.
There's another guy who's as good as this guy. His name's Christian Prince, and they won't take him on in a debate. I've never seen anyone win 1 point against Christian Prince. I'm pretty sure he's like this guy here. This guy's pretty strong in his intelligence, so I think he's similar.
The black stone that Yahya is supposed to smooch and touch and cuddle and kiss like his prophet, it will come on the day of resurrection with two eyes, a tongue, and it will bear witness for those that touched it and smothered it. Oh Allah, forgive them. Oh Allah, I am the Shafi for. And this is Tawheed. Why did your prophet kiss a stone that came from the pagans, the kuffar? And why did your prophet say, if you kiss it, it will be your Shafi on the day of judgment?
And guys, I use this. I posted this on my Christians versus Muslims hot debate. I posted, where did the black cube come from? And then I said, it used to be white, but it turned black because of the sins of Adam's sons. And that's what the Quran says. The black Cuban cube was white originally, and then it turned black because of the sins of Adam's sons. Absolutely bananas.
Don't deceive yourself, Yahya. Your religion is anything but Tawheed. It is shirk, it is polytheism, and it's a perversion of the truth of the Bible. And I'll give him the remaining time to interact with me. I got a lot more.
Shawnee, ex-Muslims, they're really strong in the Christian faith because they really understand how bad the Quran is. So I'm glad they do this.
But this is enough to begin with.
Okay. Regarding your question, is Quran Allah? Allah is not a book. Allah is the creator, and Allah's word is the Quran. So Allah, when He speaks His word, He revealed a word which being collected after He revealed it to Prophet Muhammad, and it's being collected and it become a book as guidance to all mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. He is the only creator, and when He say about something to be, it will be.
Such as?
Jesus, peace upon Him, Jesus, He said Himself, I can do nothing of myself, and all what He does is by permission of the one who created Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He was willing to create Jesus, He sent His angel Gabriel, which we call Ruh al-Qudus, and he came to Mary, and he told her, you will have a child. And she told him, nobody has touched me. And he told her, it's decree, and it's the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will have it. And then he blew on her garment, and she conceived by the will of God, not by any sexual intervention. And this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create Adam, and He shaped him and fashioned him, and then He blew a spirit of him into Adam, as He blew a spirit into
Diane, thanks for that link. I might go to Christian Prince now because we still got 2 hours to go, and this guy is really brilliant. I might switch to that, guys. What do you think?
And He sent His spirit and His word be, and He come to be. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to create, He just said be, and it will be. And that's the way why we say that Jesus is the same as Adam and creation. God create Adam from clay, then He blow of His spirit into him, he become alive. And we all live by this spirit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we receive by angel when we are God create us in the womb of our mother. Regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the authority to Jesus, and He teach him what to say and what to do. But it doesn't mean that he is equal with God. Regarding the black stone, I believe that the black stone is but a stone. We don't worship it. We kiss it as we honor this stone. As Adam, when he was sent out of paradise, he grabbed it and he used to wipe his tears with it. So as our forefather Abraham, he used it to put it in the corner of the house of Allah, and call people to circulate around and worship only one God, Allah. We Muslim, we glorify the stone as a stone as from heaven. But I just would like to say something that everything in this dunya and this life would be a witness in front of God about us, and God will ask even our skin to be witness against us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay.
All right, yeah. Be patient. We're going to get to Jesus in the Bible in the next section because you misquoted John 5:19, and I'm going to turn it against you because John 5:19 again proves the Quran is false, Muhammad is a false prophet, Allah is a false God. But I want everyone to hear what you said. You said Allah is not a book. The Quran is word of Allah. That means you ignored what I said, Yahya. So I'm going to go again, repeat it again slowly so you can get it. Since you just said Allah.
Diane, my participation in the debate group was under review a week ago because of the things I said. So I wrote, I've never told lies and I haven't posted wrong scripture or wrong Quran. I said, I admit I take the mickey out of the Muslims as they try their very best to do to me. I'm just better at it. So they didn't take my participation off.
It's not a book. That means you're saying the Quran is not Allah. It's the word of Allah. But you are a Salafi and you belong to Ahl al-Sunnah wa Jama'ah. Don't play games with me. As a Muslim, you believe the Quran is uncreated. It's not created. That means the Quran is eternal. But you just said, everyone heard you, Allah did not become a book. That means Allah is not the same as the Quran because the Quran did become a book. It became a kitab. So now if the Quran is not Allah and the Quran is not created, you destroyed Tawheed. Thank you, Yahya. But then you said that it was gathered and it was compiled. I guess you forgot what chapter 43 of the Quran, verses 3 and 4 say that your Quran is in al-Kitab, mother of the book. So yes, the earthly Quran was gathered, compiled by men, but there is the mother of the book that's with Allah. It says it's in the mother book with us. So now, Yahya, you have a problem. If the Quran is in the mother of the book, there's the mother of the book. But Allah said, how can he have a child without a girlfriend or offspring? So then how can the Quran have a mother if the mother doesn't have a husband and the Quran doesn't have a father? So according to the logic of your Quran, Allah is the daddy of the Quran and the mom of the Quran is the wife of Allah. Allahu Akbar. The second mistake you made. You just said that Jibreel is the Ruh. I said, I hope you don't make that mistake. You made the mistake, so I think you like to get punished. I'm going to challenge you from everyone. Quote one verse in the entire Quran that says
he basically baited him. That Neil, the guy I argue with, he's the atheist that I argue with, and I send you the posts about on Skype and that. Oh, I forgot what I was going to bloody say.
Gabriel is Ruh al-Qudus. But let's go with it. Let's say you're right. You just told everyone, they heard you. Jibreel, he's the one who caused Mary to...
Oh, that's right. That Neil, I knew he was an evolutionist, and I baited him for days to say something about, and I wanted him to do that monkey walking upright, and then turning into a man. Well, I baited him. He posted that, and not only that, he posted the man part in a suit and a briefcase. So I said to him, what, did the monkey evolve into a briefcase as well? Just crazy stuff. It's good fun teasing them, though.
Get pregnant, and the angel breathes our spirit by which we live. You just committed shirk, ya akhi, my brother in humanity, because you just admit that Jibreel and this other angel, whoever it is that gives us the spirit, they're the ones who create our life in the womb, bi'idhni Allah. So now that means Allah has many partners. He's not alone because the malaika, the angels can create like Allah. But I thought you're trying to prove Tawheed, not destroy Tawheed. Don't help me to destroy your Tawheed. So guys, here, Gabriel gives life, he creates.
Classic gaslighting.
The angel that gave us our spirit, they give life, they create, because they're the ones who give us the spirit by which we love, we live. And according to him, bi'ithni Allah, because Allah wanted this to be so. And then guys, pay attention to what's even more hilarious. He says we glorify the stone. Astaghfirullah, ya mushrik, you idolater. You just said, everyone heard you. We glorify the stone, even though it is only a stone, but we glorify it. And then, I don't know if you're ignorant or you're lying. I'm going to be charitable and say you're ignorant. You don't know your Quran. You said Adam grabbed it and wiped his tears with it. I'm going to challenge you in front of everyone. Quote the ayah in the Quran that says Adam grabbed it and he wiped his tears with it. Quote the ayah in the Quran that says Ibrahim is the one who established the black stone. quote the ayah in the Quran that says that Ibrahim went to Mecca. Don't give me Bakka. Bakka is not Mecca. Don't make that mistake. See, I'm already helping you not to embarrass yourself. Go to chapter 3 of the Quran, verse 96, and say,
I love this guy. He's so strong in his argument that he throws there. Oh man, he's funny.
Bakka is Mecca. Nowhere in the Quran does it say Bakka is Mecca. So I'm going to challenge you from your book. Show me Ibrahim and Ishmael were in Mecca. They built the Kaaba and placed the black stone. And if you go to the Hadith, it's going to be more embarrassing for you. So let's come back again. You admit the Quran is not Allah, but the Quran is uncreated. That's two. That's not one. That's not Tawheed. You admit that Jibreel, who's the Ruh, he's the one who created life in Mary's womb. Now you have another entity besides the Quran that's equal to Allah, like Allah. He's the creator. Then you said, we glorify the stone, even though it's a stone. Then you said, my skin will testify. I can understand your body testifying against you, but why a stone when the stones were venerated by the pagans, the kuffar, and they used the same argument your prophet used? They told your prophet, oh, we only worship them to bring us closer to Allah so they can be intercessors. Muhammad said, no, Allah condemns you. But then he makes the stupid mistake of saying, oh, but this stone, you venerate it, and it will bring you closer to Allah, and it will be your Shafi. So your prophet sounds exactly the same like the pagans. He's no better than the pagans. In fact, in many places, he's much worse than them. So Yahya, I don't know why you don't understand the problem you have. If the Quran is not created, it is one of the sifat of Allah, the kalam of Allah, one of the word speech of Allah. That means the Quran, if it's uncreated and it's not Allah, now you add another uncreated thing to your Islam. So let's count. Allah, His Spirit, Quran, that's 3. So Allah is not one, He's not unique, because the Quran is uncreated like Allah, even though it's not Allah. The Spirit is uncreated like Allah, even though it's not Allah. And the Spirit gives life like Allah, even though it's not Allah. Creates like Allah, even though it's not Allah. So that's 3. Yeah, count. 3, but you added the 4th. You said that angels are created, but Allah sends them and gives them permission to give us our spirit, to breathe the Spirit into us. So now you have a group of created angels that are being permitted by Allah to create like Allah and give life to Allah. That means Allah, according to you, is a mushrik. He committed shirk. I don't know if you understand, because what is shirk? When you ascribe a creature with Allah in His worship, in His lordship, or in His attributes. You just attributed angels to Allah in Allah's attributes, because if they create and give life, that means they are sharing in Allah's asma wa sifat, because one of the names of Allah is Al-Khaliq, the creator. But then you just said angels with the permission of Allah create. So the Al-Khaliq is creating angels to create like Him, committing shirk. So now how many is that? Allah, the Spirit, the Quran, and numerous angels. My goodness, it's not 3, it's not 4, it's probably millions. God only knows how many angels there are. You have millions of entities that are not the same, that are like Allah and do what Allah does. Some are created, others are not. Yeah, you are a mushrik. Give it up. Your deen is not from God. It is a satanic deception. Come to Jesus, your true God and Savior, and Muhammad's judge.
Christian Prince has actually gone live now, guys.
Young people for 75 years under Israeli occupation. No, I feel proud that our Palestinian people for 75 years under Israeli occupation did not surrender, did not raise the white flag, and still fighting Israel.
Okay, I'm not going to do that one.
And we are going to talk about the Muslims' claim that the one who was sacrificed, or let us say the one who presented to be sacrificed, is Ishmael. There's many Islamic websites speaking about this issue, and they are trying to present to us something, even themselves cannot prove it. But as usual, nothing new. Islam is always a religion, if we can call it religion, based on claims but there is no proof. As an example, Muhammad, he came 600 years after Jesus. He never met Jesus. He never saw Jesus. He never spoke the language of Jesus. He don't even know how to say the name, the correct name. He says his name is Isa. We can't even find the name Isa anywhere. But yet he is correcting the Christians after all those hundreds of years, saying, "Oh, Jesus is not. He was not crucified." So look like Islam is a religion built in a habit where we say whatever we want, and who cares if you can prove it or not? This is not really a question. We do not need to prove anything. We just make a claim. And then they say to you, and the funny Muslims always, they want to debate you, and they choose their own topics. Muslims, they want to debate always either about the Trinity or a topic like this. Abraham or Ishmael, or first of all, what you have to do with Ishmael and what you have to do with Isaac? Nothing. Both does not belong to Islam. Many naive, actually, in the Christian churches, they say to you that Ishmael is the father of the Arab. Those who say such a thing to you, they are certified ignorant. And I heard it many times in Christian.
Okay, there is a debate coming up because the title is the #1 most requested debate of all times. So this guy's really good. I hope he gets into it soon.
And churches. The Arab is not an ethnic. The Arab is a word meaning the desert. Arabia is a desert. The Arabian is those who live in the desert. They are the Bedouin. Even the Quran agree with me. So we are going to discuss this topic, and let us go first, start from the Quran. Let us show the screen and start our school, which no Muslim can refute.
All right. Is he going to do a debate or is he just doing this on his own?
As he called them, my people, because my
Oh, got to be patient, yeah. He's got a fish on the hook.
That make him either he is, he's an Aramaic, he speaks Aramaic, this is his language, and he is either Assyrian, you know, I mean, as an ethnic, he is from that land, which has zero Arab. And as I said, Arab is not an ethnic, which means Abraham in certain time he was an Arab too, because if he live in a tent, that make him an Arab. If you live in the desert, that make him an Arab. So if you move around in the desert, that make him an Arab. If he settle down, and then he start, this is the stage of the Bedouin life. In the beginning, it was like just Bedouin, Arab, and then they start, you know, occupying cities. So look at this. We have Abraham. Let us type in the screen. Let us say, to make it simple, Abraham was from Germany. He is, let us say, from Germany. Now, Muslim, they will say, see, Christian Prince is teaching that Abraham from Germany. No, I'm not. I'm just giving you a name equal to this name. This is not about Abraham himself. So let us assume there's a guy, his name is Abraham. He is from Germany. He did marry a woman. Her name is Hajar. From Egypt, which means she is African. How does son turn to be an Arab? If an Arab is an ethnic. It's like I am an Arabian and I marry a Chinese and my son is German.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You see how silly the story is?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All Muslims agree that a child belongs to his father. And this is regarding his ethnic. There's a video of a guy, his name, what his name? I forgot his name. The guy who was sending pictures without no t-shirt, the big, supposedly he claimed to be a scholar. I forgot his name. Somebody maybe can remind me. So this guy, he was saying why in the Quran, he was talking about who is the one saying that this is not Khan and this? I want to hear it again. Maybe I did not hear correct.
In quote,
So how Muhammad became from Ishmael? This is number one. It's impossible.
It's supposed to be, but it doesn't seem to be much debate going on. That's why I'm jumping ahead.
It's in Arabic. And you translate.
Use it.
And you translate.
Okay, we got a fish on the hook.
And you.
Let me take it back a couple.
To us, supposed you're a Muslim,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes.
All right,
I'm
go
a
ahead.
Muslim, yes.
Okay, yeehaw.
Well, how do we know that he's a Muslim?
And guys, Christian Prince, he's really funny. You watch.
Okay, somebody saying to me, a Muslim on a call. Let us see. We will give him a chance. Okay. And the picture he have in his Skype look funny. Doesn't sound like someone serious. But we will give him a chance. Answer me, Mr. Okay, let's call him.
Oh, the doorbell's gone.
Hello?
Yes, my friend, you're live on air. What would you like to say to us? Suppose you're a Muslim,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes.
All right,
I'm
go
a
ahead.
Muslim, yes.
Go ahead. Who is
what?
the topic
Yeah,
is about who is the one who Allah wanted to slaughter?
Sacrifice. Yes,
sacrifice,
yes, yes. Okay. First of all, you gave us the that quote from the Quran, that verse that you gave, and you took it completely out of context.
Which one?
The one that you gave about the and we made him sacrifice فأفديناه بذبح عظيم.
Okay, you speak Arabic. Okay. What about it?
And you took it completely out of context. And you didn't talk about the other verse that said, وقال إني ذاهب إلى ربي سيهدين. ربي هب لي من الصالحين فبشرناه بغلام حليم.
Okay.
So we gave him the good news of a forbearing son.
Thank you.
Who's that forbearing son? Can you tell me who it is?
Who? You tell me.
No, you tell me. Because
Well, here we
I
go.
don't know.
Okay, you speak Arabic. That's wonderful. Here we go. This is Tafsir al-Qurtubi. Can you read for me on the screen?
Let me see. And we ransomed him with a great sacrifice.
No, read on the screen. It's in Arabic. And you translate. And you translate, please. And you translate. And you translate. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Tafsir al-Tabari.
This is al-Qurtubi. فقال أكثرهم. Read carefully, please. From here. فقال أكثرهم. Translate from there.
Where is okay. فقال أكثرهم الذبيح إسحاق.
Translate.
Okay. Who's أكثر?
Translate.
And most of them said the sacrifice is Isaac.
Okay. Who is most of them?
Shit.
Okay,
listen.
Most of them is shit.
No. Okay, wait.
Did you say most of them is shit?
First of all, no, wait. No, wait. That doesn't mean that now you have to remember.
He's already got him blubbering, and he's hardly said anything.
No, you just said the word shit. I'm asking you, most of them, they say it is Isaac. Who is most of them? Who are they?
the scholars.
Okay, but you just told, hold on, but you just told the people here that I took the word and the meaning out of context, blah, 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 blah. But when all the majority, hold on, the majority.
What I meant is that you only took one tafsir, which is
No, I did not. No, I did not.
So
No, I did not. No, I did not. Okay, no, I did not. I did not. Even Ibn Kathir, he could not hesitate to mention that this is his mention exactly. But Ibn Kathir, he don't agree with it. That's all. But Ibn Kathir is just a guy who came 600 years after. We have here, it says that the one who agree with this is the following names. Look how big the names. Who is Ibn Kathir? Ibn Abbas, the cousin of your prophet. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin of your prophet, and the one who became a caliphate. And Umar ibn al-Khattab, and Abu Hurairah. So who was Ibn Kathir? Do Ibn Kathir count next to those names?
Nobody's scared of you, man. But here's our camp. We'd like to talk to you
Surprise
too.
you, loudmouth coward. Now we're gonna see who's running from who, you little wicked dog. First of all, no. First of all, open your Quran, chapter 2 of the Quran, start reading, 40 to 44. Now it's time for me to schmuzzle you for your slanderous lies, you filthy wicked. Open Quran, shut up. Open.
Wow, he just puts it right on him. That's why I changed to this guy.
Quran. Open Quran, chapter 2, verses 40 to 44. Read.
I'm not going to take dictates.
No, you're going to do it whether you like it or not, you Ibn Muta. Or we're going to talk about the Muta wife you had for a month after you divorced.
Sam, why are you different? See,
Open chapter 2 of the Quran. We're going to talk about Quran in the Bible. Open chapter 2. Stop barking. I'm going to start reading. Okay, I'm going to read. I'm going to read your Quran. No one wants to hear you. Open up your Quran.
No one wants to hear you.
No, we're going to do interactive discussion because you tapped into the prophet.
You're not going to let me talk.
You're going to read the Quran. Wait. You're ashamed of your Quran? You're ashamed of your filthy prophet who prostituted women?
Sam,
open your Quran. Let me read it because you're Quran. Okay, I'm reading the Quran for him because this coward is ashamed of the prophet.
Can we put on?
No. Let me read the Quran for you. Ish.
Bloody hell. I accidentally pressed the button.
Ish. Let me read the Quran because you're a liar, slander. You deserve no respect, you dog, for telling people we ran from you. You wicked, vile heathen. So now because you got a loud mouth, you're a slanderer, I'm now going to humiliate you like Jesus humiliated your filthy prophet. Hold on.
You're a coward. You're running from the debate.
You can see I'm running. Oh, I'm running. Who said, look, I'm running?
They love to challenge you on that too. You run from them. You answer their questions. They don't like it. They'll ask the same question the next time round and they'll accuse you of running from them. They're big on that. And this guy who's this Muslim, he's from the West. I reckon if you're from the West and you turn Muslim, you should be done for treason.
You're wrong by bad mouthing and not giving me an opportunity to talk.
I'm acting like you're prophet. Told people to bite people's penises off. Hey, wait. Will you condemn your prophet for saying, go tell them to bite their father's penises? I'm not shouting, but you're too stupid of a dog to answer.
But don't run away.
Chapter 2 of the Quran.
Let you
Israel, come up to mine, the special favor which I bestowed upon you, and fulfill your covenant with me as I fulfill my covenant with you. Fear none but me, and believe in what I reveal, confirming the revelation which is with you, and be not the first to reject faith therein, nor sell my signs for a small price, and fear me and me alone, and cover not the truth with falsehood, nor conceal the truth when you know what it is. Be steadfast in prayer, practice regular charity, bow down your heads with those who bow down and worship. Do you enjoin right conduct on the people and forget to practice it yourselves, and yet you study the scripture? Now, Ibn Muta, what did they have at the time of your prophet that your wicked prophet confirmed? You know what the Arabic says?
Listen. Now I
just read your Quran. Answer.
You just had your chance to speak now.
Answer the question. You're not going to dictate. We
You're
don't
not
pay
gonna let
attention
me
to you.
speak. Okay, you no.
Hussein, let me repeat the question, Hussein, because this guy's
I'm scared. He's scared to debate me. Actually, that's okay.
Answer
Sam.
the question. What
Why are you
was the
scared of
question?
me, Sam?
What? I'm shaking like
I'm not
that woman was shaking when you did muta with her. I'm shaking like the woman that you did muta with was shaking for that month. Remember that?
Why can we not have a debate with equal time? Why can't we do that?
Answer the question.
I'm not going to
respect. Okay.
Let's go.
Shut up, dude. Answer the question.
And what he's aware of, these guys won't answer the questions. I'll throw questions at. I'm used to dealing with these guys too. They never answer the question. They'll detract. And this Sam, he's not letting them get away with that. And I don't let them get away with it either when I hassle them on Facebook. They try though.
Okay.
Are you going to answer the question?
What part of no don't you understand?
Go ahead.
Sam, what part of no don't you understand? I'm not going to sit
Okay,
here.
then why don't you get the hell out of here, you little dog? No one cares about you.
I came here to stop.
You don't have Muslims supporting you. You're a joke. What Muslim institution endorses you, you wicked dog?
Work for any Muslim institution.
You wicked dog. Oh my Lord. How come Facebook hasn't, how come YouTube hasn't stopped this for community standards?
Because no one wants to be a Muslim.
Why are you scared to debate me, Sam?
No.
Why are you scared to debate me on the Bible or on the modern science?
Who said
Yes, you are.
part of this verse wasn't
You've been
about the
running for how long? It's been over 15 years.
Okay, are you going to keep barking like Muhammad? Okay,
guys, you know what? I can't make heads or tails about what I think that we got a really good opportunity here.
Yes.
I got the opportunity to hear from Sam and an opportunity to hear from Nathid.
Nadir, answer the question.
Nathid, can you answer the question that Sam asked?
No, answer any questions. I want to debate equal time.
Yeah, you're going to get equal time when you answer the
He won't answer the question because he can't answer the question.
question.
No, I'm not going to answer any questions.
Then get the hell out of here, dude. Go lick the black stone, you pagan.
1818.
Go lick the black stone, you little pagan, like your whore prophet.
What am I saying? They're just shouting me down. You're not letting me talk.
Like your prophet used to behead people and rape them. So better be shut down than rape
I really want to turn to Christ with this type of behavior, right?
I'm not interested in having you turn to Christ. I want you to burn in hell with your prophet.
You know, this type of behavior, I mean.
Okay, I'm on Sam's side here. I don't try and convert him to Christ. I hate the bastards. I really do.
Seriously. How do you expect
you mean, wait. You're saying to the people, I should act like your prophet, but rape women like your mother.
No, you're actually that's not true.
All right, so you want me to be better than your prophet?
Listen, I'm ignoring your people.
Okay, would you be okay with Muhammad? Would you be okay? Listen, dude, keep barking. I'm shaking. Would you be okay with Muhammad treating your mother like a whore doing huta with her?
Hussein, what are we?
Be okay. Wait. Answer the question.
I'm out of here.
Would you be okay with Muhammad taking your mother and doing muta with her?
You want to run away from the debate on Deuteronomy 18:18?
Would you be okay with Muhammad taking your mother and then treating her like a whore, doing muta with her? Yes or no?
I'm talking about Look how this coward Sam Shimon is running.
I'm more of a man than Aisha was. Wait.
He's running away
from more of a man than Aisha was.
See, they say we're running away. They all say that. They don't say anything you have to run away from. It's easy to beat them when you're being a smart ass to them. It's easy to beat them because it's so vulnerable.
When your prophet mounted her at the age of 54, yes or no? Are you more of a man than your prophet who mounted Aisha, a 9-year-old minor, like the age of your daughter?
What are we going to do?
Yeah, 54-year-old pervert sleeps with a 9-year-old kid.
Are we going to have a debate or am I out of here?
You're going to answer the question?
Option. I'm saying, I'm talking to you.
Shut up, stop barking like a coward. Answer the question, you coward. Nice. You little coward. So
okay, guys, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Would you be okay with your mother doing muta with your prophet and your prophet sleeping with your 9-year-old daughter? Yes or no?
Sam, did you know that Jesus had girls sexually molested in the Bible?
There you go. Well, you mean Well, hold on. I mean, he was following Allah. Wait, he was following Allah. Chapter 4, verse 24, where your filthy God said you can rape married women like your mother.
Then Shimon, you are a coward.
Are you going to answer the question, you dog? Final chance. Would you be okay? Let's repeat. I know you're ashamed of your filthy dog, Muhammad. Would you be okay?
I'm not getting
Muhammad taking your mother
I'm scared to debate me on Deuteronomy.
We're shaking. We are shaking.
Oh, man.
Okay, Hussein.
All right, you guys. All right, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and make an executive decision here.
Okay, do it.
I think we proved Sam is not afraid of Nadib. Nadib has come on, and I'm.
Okay, so I'm guessing Stephen, he's a sort of moderator, and he just said Sam's answering a question, and Nadia's running.
I'm going to go ahead and return to the subject of our debate here, which is Deuteronomy 18:18.
Let's do it. Let's take Shimon on this. Let's debate.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
You like to join us for the debate?
Deuteronomy 24.
Okay, can we go ahead? Can we go ahead? I want to do it. Okay. The way we're doing it. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
It was, first of all, the way we were doing it is 3 minutes, 3 minutes. That's what I want to do.
No, but you want to give us a chance to run.
3 minutes. Now, I just finished my 3 minutes, and so right now it's now.
Let me do my 3 minutes. Let me start.
You want to start, Sam?
Yeah, I want to do it. Let me hold on. You want to do me right so I can muzzle your prophet? Okay, let me do my.
Guys, I'm gonna turn on the lights in this room here. Okay, just give me.
No. Please keep it off. We want to see your ugly mouth. Please, keep it off.
Okay, I can't hear this. Let's do 3 minutes. No interruptions. Give me 5 minutes to get set up over here. Okay.
No, actually, keep the light on. No one can see your mouth.
Okay, you guys. Y'all, we kind of got.
We're saying you can't respect this dog. He has no respect. He's a slandering dog like his prophet. Don't respect this guy.
I know. I've watched his videos. I know.
So please, don't give him a license, please.
You know what? Well, I'd like for us to do this in order so that.
No, but that's the thing. He hides behind like a coward. Even Michael Brown condemned him like for a dog that he is.
I watched the video with Michael Brown. I know. I watched the video with Michael Brown. So anyway, you guys, we're going to continue this. We're going to do 3 minutes, so that you guys can hear the arguments for. Now, I'm going to do it, but since we have Sam is much better than me. He's much more knowledgeable than me. So let's go ahead and let Sam go ahead and do my part. Which is
that's what he is. I have no respect for him. So I'm sorry, Christians. I'm going to treat this guy like the dog that he is. He goes around slandering.
I'm with you, mate. Don't apologize. I'm with you there.
People and lying about them. That's why he's got no Muslims to support him. And he's supposed to be a Sunni who did muta marriage. I don't know if you know that, Hussein.
Yeah, I've heard,
Stupid slime.
I'll deal with you.
Watch what I'm going to do to your prophet. I'm going to make him cry like you made Aisha cry. So get ready. Bring your stuff. So do I begin with the 3 minutes?
If you want to go first, you can go first. We had already started in it, and he already went first. And so we were at the second phase right now.
But I just came in, so I don't care what you guys did, because I want to deal with this guy.
Come true.
Yes, and it's going to be Muhammad's nightmare come true. So
give it to him, Sam.
I'm ready. Let's do this. Bismillah.
Okay, now the prophet, like most. Okay.
So you're ready, Nathan?
I'm ready. No.
You got that.
No interruptions. Okay.
Okay. Let me begin. I won't even need to take 3 minutes because he's on answer my charges. The prophet, like Moses, is to be from.
Okay, we're talking about Deuteronomy.
We're saying you keep interrupting me now. So can I make the point? Okay. The prophet, like Moses, is supposed to be from their brethren. He's assuming Muhammad is a son of Ishmael and therefore related to the Israelites. My first challenge to Nadir, show me a single verse in the Quran that says Muhammad is a son of Ishmael. That's my first challenge. The second challenge, show me some pre-Islamic proof, not from the Quran or the traditions that come 200 years later, that say that Ishmael settled in Mecca, married a woman from the tribe of Jurhum, and is the ancestor of Muhammad. That's my first challenge. I won't even take 3 minutes. Show me proof that Muhammad is a son of Ishmael, therefore a son of Abraham, therefore.
But not with the Quran. He stipulated that.
Related to the Israelites. That's my first challenge. I got your sources, and I'm going to embarrass you with your genealogy of your fake prophet. So answer the question. Go ahead.
Okay, let me start with my 3 minutes, and this is, as I said, is kind of a dream.
Okay, all right. Sam didn't take his 3 minutes, so I'll go ahead and get started.
Answer the question.
Is it my turn?
Yes, your turn.
Okay, this is kind of a dream come true. We got Sam Shimon.
Keep parking. Go.
I can't be interrupted.
Get close to the point.
Sam, let him answer, okay?
Let him go to his point.
Go ahead, Nadia.
Okay, thank you. So this is kind of a dream come true where we finally got a person who's been running for 15 years away from
There goes the slander and the lies again. I know your prophet.
Can you get to the answer, Nadia?
Yeah, stop with Stop with your barking and slander. I'll humiliate your prophet. Answer the question in your 3 minutes.
If you'll just get to the subject. Quit.
Stop barking. I would humiliate you. Get to the answer. Get to the answer.
Okay. No, I'm not gonna. I'll take my time and debate.
No, you're not gonna take your time to do what you want. You're gonna take your time to answer.
All right. So, are you going to allow me to speak?
You're going to take your time to answer. Okay. Not to humiliate you.
You guys, Nadia, quit talking about that. Please talk about
answer the question. He's talking about my mother and all that my.
No, you're lying. I said, what would you say to your prophet or your mother? Don't slander me. Stop lying. Stop lying.
What's your name? Hussein, how are we going to conduct this debate? I can't be interrupted.
We're going to conduct by going to the answer and not.
Okay, Nadia, I want to talk. I want to say.
Yeah, lay down the rules.
Guys, you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to mute. When it's not your turn, I'm going to mute you.
Well said.
I want to get through this, and I want to get some benefit. Right now, no.
Okay? Topic, no side issue.
That's what I'm going to do, Sam. From now on, if it's not your turn, I'm going to mute you because I want to hear what the other guy has to say. But I don't want you to come on here and say Sam's been running for me for 25 years, whatever. I want you to get.
Shut up with your point.
You're the one who chose this subject, okay? You're the one who chose the subject. So please answer, okay? I'm gonna, you know what, Nadia? I'm gonna go ahead and just because of all this confusion, I'm gonna give you another 3 minutes, okay? I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. Take the 3 minutes and respond to what Sam said about proof that Muhammad is a descendant of Ishmael. Okay, go ahead.
My 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a 3 minutes all over again because of what the confusion there. So right now, your 3 minutes start. Go ahead, Nadia.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
And so basically, why we say, Muhammad is a prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18 is because this is what the facts support. At no time in this debate will Sam Shimon give a fact. Everything that the Christians base their objections on or claiming that Jesus was a prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18, it is based upon interpretation. And this is what we're going to see tonight. So let me go ahead and answer his first interpretation, claiming that Muhammad is not a descendant of Ishmael, that this is something which was made up. Once again, we see that this is exactly what I've been saying, that he is not presenting any facts to support what he's saying. There's many, and so what's very interesting about this is not only that he's not supporting facts, but he's rewriting history. We can go to the history. Whoa, Stephen, you can't interrupt me. Okay. And so he's rewriting history, and that's how weak the case for the Christians are. So first of all, let's look at some evidences from the actual Hadith itself, which talks about Ishmael. So this is talking about the lineage of Ishmael. That basically it talks about Abraham. This is narrating a hadith. It said Abraham bought her and her son Ishmael while she was still suckling.
Look at Sam, he's chomping at the bit.
Him to a place near the Kaaba under the tree and a spot called Zamzam, in the highest place in the masjid, in the mosque. During those days, and so the hadith goes on. So here we could see from the historical records of what we have, which the hadith is like the historical records of Islam. We see here that the Arabs are the descendants of Ishmaelites. And once again, this is a rewrite of history. You could go to the history books and you can also see that. But not only that, but we know now from science as well that the Arabs and the Jews are indeed related to each other genetically. Well, and by the way, here is Encyclopedia Britannica, which the Christians have to rewrite. Look at all the books the Christians have to purge just to get to to refute our case here. So this is an example from Encyclopedia Britannica. Ishmael is
a long 3 minutes.
Arabs are the descendants of Ishmael. And here is showing an article from Science in which it shows that the Jews and Arabs are genetically linked. So once again, I think it's pretty pathetic that you have to now go into all the history rooms and classrooms and start purging and burning books just to make Jesus true. So that's enough to dismiss this faulty notion that Muhammad and the Arabs are not the descendants of Ishmael. So in my remaining 5 seconds, we need to now talk about what.
Your time is up. Okay, but thank you for what you said. Okay, now it's Sam's turn.
I'm going to make it easy for you to win this debate, not humiliate yourself as a liar. Okay, I won't even take 3 minutes. Number one, I never said Arabs are not related to the Jews. So you're a liar following your prophet. I said you have no proof. Ishmael is the father of Muhammad. Even the hadith you quoted, because you're so wickedly dishonest like your God, there it proves to you Ishmael didn't father the Arabs because he married a woman from the Arabs, the tribe of Jurhum, meaning the Arabs were there already before Ishmael. So even the hadith you cited shows he's not the progenitor of the Arabs. The Arabs come from various strands according to the hadith. So let me repeat my challenge again before I quote Ibn Kathir to humiliate you. Here's my challenge, clear for everyone to hear. Give me pre-Islamic, pre-Quranic proof Ishmael settled in Mecca, fathered the particular Arabs at Mecca by marrying a woman from the tribe of Jurhum, and therefore is the ancestor of Muhammad. You quoted Bukhari, that's 20 years later, and that itself showed you're a liar. You can't even read your sources because there were already Arabs there. Nadir, can you read the hadith? Did he not marry an Arab woman from the tribe of Jurhum according to that hadith, which is a fake? So now I'm going to give you my time to answer my question again. Show us pre-Quranic Islamic proof Ishmael settled in Mecca, fathered the Arabs at Mecca, and therefore is the ancestor of Muhammad. Not your filthy lie that Arabs are related to Jews, because no one disputes that. Because the Arabs come from various strands, and of course they have some relationship to the Jews. I'm asking about Ishmael fathering your fake prophet, that son of the devil, Muhammad, by settling in Mecca. Give me pre-Quranic, pre-Islamic proof that he is a son of Ishmael. So let's see how you're going to do in these 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Were you going to show us that quote from Ibn Kathir?
I'll wait for him because I'm going to embarrass him right after he comes back. After I got him all here. We lined up. But we're going to see this guy run. Come on.
All right. All right, Nadir. Let me start for you now.
Well, I think the evidence I've presented is good enough, and we also got historical records where we also saw from Encyclopedia Britannica where the descendants of Ishmael are the Arabs are the descendants of Ishmael. As for his verbal abuse, what you're going to find out tonight is that this is all he's going to really present tonight. Just nothing more than verbal abuse. But anyways, I think the issue here tonight is it's very clear that there is a genetic link between the Arabs and the Jews. And so when we talk about Ishmael as being the descendants, or the Arabs being the descendants of Ishmael, this is not something which is really disputed But let us go very quickly now and let's look at the facts. Remember, I said Christians will not present any fact. And there's really only one reason why we say, Muhammad is the prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18, is because that is what the facts support. So let me go ahead and very quickly get into the facts rather than the conjecture.
So basically, he hasn't answered his question, has he?
Which Sam Shimon is bringing up. So let's get to the facts. What is it? What are the facts in which basically make Muhammad like Moses? So let's go very quickly over here. What we know here is that both of them were theocrats. Not only theocrats, but they were successful theocrats which established a theocratic state. As you can see from my references, notice I'm not going into the Bible. Why? Because this is how facts are established. They're by going from additional sources like history.com. You can also go to BibleStudyTools.com to substantiate your facts. They're both theocratic people. But not only theocrats, but they were successful at doing it. Both of them were lawgivers. And as we can see over here, that Moses brought a law and Muhammad brought a law. And today, both Muslims and Christians are following those laws. And again, sorry about it. I'm going to go very quickly through my references. I'll ask that you hit pause on the YouTube video just to get them down. Both of them were warrior prophets, as we can see from Encyclopedia Britannica. Moses was a great warrior prophet. He dispatched many armies, and same thing with Muhammad. Muhammad was also a warrior prophet. Both of them conquered the Holy Lands. We see that God, Moses actually never, entered into the Holy Lands, but he had Joshua commenced him to conquer the Holy Lands. And we find the same thing about Muhammad. Muhammad also was, his army later on conquered the Holy Lands, and it wasn't him, but it was Omar, the Joshua of Islam, who did it.
Okay, all right. Time's up. So, okay, Sam.
Yeah, I'm going to decimate his objections, but notice the coward didn't answer my question. And if he's complaining about...
See, Sam picked it up. He didn't answer the question. I picked that up as well. This guy is good.
Prophet. His prophet who abused people with filthy language. So did Abu Bakr, telling a guy to go suck the clitoris of Allah, Al-Uzza, I believe. So let's not go there because you're going to humiliate your prophet. But notice he lied. He said that the Encyclopedia Britannica said that Ishmael is the father of Arabs. Now, I wanted to quote the encyclopedia to show Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered the Quraysh, who are the people of Muhammad. Secondly, I want again, quote, pre-Islamic proof, pre-Quranic proof, Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered the Arabs at Mecca, who are the ancestors of Muhammad, because that's crucial to the prophecy. If you can't show me your wicked prophet, that immoral son of the devil, is an Ishmaelite, then you destroyed any connection he has with Abraham, and therefore he cannot be from the brethren of the Israelites. Now, with that said, since you want to talk about law, here is a law given by Moses that shows that your prophet is of the devil. In Deuteronomy 24, verses 1-4, Nadir, the true God who spoke through Moses said that when a man divorces his wife, she marries another, and that other divorces her or dies, she cannot go back to her first husband. That's disgusting to the God of Moses. But your wicked prophet said in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 230, that if you divorce your wife irrevocably and she wants to come back to you, she can until she marries someone who has sex with her, making her lawful for you to take her back. So how can your wicked prophet be like Moses when he is not related to Moses, because you have no proof he's a son of Ishmael? And how can he be like Moses when your wicked, filthy prophet ordered something that the God of Moses says is an abomination, and Moses would have killed your fake prophet for enjoining that command? And this is just the beginning. Watch what I'm going to do to you and your prophet. Go ahead. Let's see if you can answer.
Watch what I'm going to do. Guys, I use that on my arguments on the Facebook debates. I said, go on, post something and see what I do to it. Because they never post anything smart.
All right, now, dude, let me start your 3 minutes here. Just 1 second here. Please, all right, now, dude, go ahead, bro.
Okay, thanks. So as I said, in no time will Sam Shimon present any type of facts to support anything about whether if it's Jesus being that prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18, because remember the New Testament claims he is, but there will be no facts to support that. And so, and if you look at the job, and we'll talk about that, whether Jesus is really that prophet or not, we'll get there later. But I think it's very interesting. Everything I presented to you is a fact about Muhammad. These are facts which are not disputed, and Sam could.
Yeah, but you haven't proven it. Just because you say they're facts, that doesn't make it so.
Dispute that. And in fact, I'm even going to put out a challenge.
Here we go.
Everything I will present to you will be based upon fact. So now he present to us not any fact, but a riddle. Roses are red, violets are blue kind of thing. Well, the laws are a little bit different here, and the laws are a little bit different here. Well, first of all, he was, if we just take away all that verbal abuse, you will see that he just said divorce and remarriage is allowed. Good. And this shows you, it further strengthens the case why Islam is the truth, because this is correcting a scientific error of the Bible. Because remember, the Bible, Jesus came and also abrogated a law. He said basically, that's it. Divorce is a one-time deal only in case of adultery or death. We know that from science say this causes a tremendous amount of problems for the children, because now they got to live in fatherless homes. So let us take a look at these two passages over here. I'm quoting Matthew chapter 5, verse 31. And it says, anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So my question to Sam Shimon is, okay, a 16-year-old girl gets divorced because of some reason, why should she have to suffer for the rest of her life? Or even worse, why should the children have to suffer? And now I know most Christians don't practice this, but a lot do. People like Michael Brown and others and them, they do take this literally. So the verse or the hadith which he was mocking and insulting is correcting the scientific catastrophe of the Bible. And this is why Christians run away from debate. They will never debate the Bible, the Quran, and modern science. I've been putting out this challenge.
These guys never answer the question. He hasn't answered anything Sam said. These guys are so dishonest. I really despise them.
For so long, and they will never come to debate that because they know the Bible contradicts science, unlike the Quran, which is in complete harmony with modern science. So let me just very quickly give you my references. This is what Sam has to answer to us because he shot himself in the foot tonight. Why should children have to suffer, Sam? But if their mother gets divorced, why should they have to suffer in living in single families? Lifelong suffering for no apparent reason. I hope you can answer that because that'll show the falsehood of the New Testament. And so by you bringing up this issue, well, you say it's filthy, dirty sex, as if you are some kind of Adonis of virginity, What makes you...
Okay, time's up there. Just before Sam comes in, I just want to, first of all, I want to apologize to Michael Brown. What he said about Michael Brown is, and then what he said about all Christians, I want to try to be objective here. But I also want to say one thing. The reason Sam has been saying these things about Ishmael and everything like that is because what the argument that you are going to present, because we've heard it from you 700 times, is that Muhammad is a descendant of Ishmael, thereby making him like a cousin or some kind of so-called brother of the Israelites. And so that's the relevance of talking about Muhammad being a descendant of Ishmael. So go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, notice the deceit because he's like his God. He changed the subject, but I'm going to bury him with his argument. He said children, right? And yet this is the man who has no problem with his 54-year-old pervert having sex with a 9-year-old minor and then violating her in the name of Allah, calling it marriage, and then leaving her a widow at 18 without the possibility of her ever marrying and having children.
Wow.
And he's talking about damage to
so
children.
he threw that straight back on him. Wow, that was brilliant.
You don't do much more damage than sleeping with a minor, doing irreparable psychological, physical, emotional damage, than leaving her childless without any husband, for the rest of her life. And this filthy pervert wants to say this man is a prophet like Moses. But it gets worse for this pervert. And I'm going to call him what he is. If you don't like it, then you know what? Find another religion. In 65 verse 4, his filthy, perverted God says that perverts like him can marry prepubescent minors, premature minors who haven't menstruated yet, divorce them, and they wait 3 months for another pervert like him to marry them. So we're talking about children.
Okay, I found this out yesterday when I was debating the Muslims. The Muslims have rules on marrying child brides. This is going to sound gross, but this is what it says. You cannot penetrate the child until the child's 9 years old, and that makes it okay. So you're not allowed to penetrate pre-9-year-old, but once she's 9, all bets are off the table. It's really bad. I wonder if he's going to pick that up. I bet he does.
And their health, you just buried your God and Muhammad in hell where they deserve. But then it gets worse. His prophet lusted for his adopted son's wife, Zaynab bin Jash. And then Zayd divorced her so his perverted prophet could marry her because he lusted for a married woman. According to Jesus, both Allah and Muhammad deserve to be in hell for lusting for a married woman. But then it gets worse. What did his perverted prophet do? He abolished adoption to save face because people find you.
Shorty, that's their playbook. Accuse you of running away and deflecting a question with a question.
Dirty pervert. You took your son's wife. He goes, oh, adopted sons are not your children. Name them after their fathers, thereby destroying adoption.
Diane, you can't hear me.
Leaving countless number of orphans without the opportunity to have anyone call their parents, leaving barren women and husbands who can't impregnate their wives without the opportunity of adopting an orphan and making that person his own child. And this sick pervert has the audacity to complain about what the Bible says when his prophet abolished adoption, violated a minor, sanctions in his filthy Quran that perverts like him can violate minors doing irreparable psychological, emotional, physical damage. And on top of that, leaving poor Aisha, widowed 18, no children, to die childless without a family, let alone his other wives. And you have the audacity to defend this filthy pervert, the son of the devil. But now, coming back to the issue, you didn't answer my question. According to Deuteronomy 24, verses 1-4, there it says, if a man divorces his wife, she marries another, he can't take her back. So according to the God of Moses, your filthy prophet, by saying the only way you can take your wife back is if she marries and has sex with someone, he commits abomination. Pray tell, how can he be a prophet like Moses? You just destroyed Muhammad.
All right. Okay, and for those of you who don't know, this is in Arabic is called the muhallil. This is called the muhallil. It's in Surah Al-Baqarah, where if...
Okay, the moderator, before he hands over to the next guy, he should explain the points, what was said and what's being asked. He should do that and then hand it over. Because otherwise this Muslim's just going to keep not answering the question.
A man divorces his wife 3 times. I divorce you, divorce you, divorce you. But then later regrets it and wants to come back to her. Wants her to come back. First of all, according to the system, she has to go marry another guy, have sex with him, that man divorce her, and then come back to her original husband, which in the Bible, in the Torah, is called abomination, but it is in the Quran, and it's it's called the muhallil in Arabic. So, okay. All right, Najid, 3 minutes to respond, okay?
Okay, I'll ask for the moderator to be neutral here, because I can only take one person at a time here, okay? So let's go back to the horrific scientific error in the Bible. Now, if you recall, did Sam ever defend what the teachings of the Bible is, in which...
Okay, you know what else the Quran says? The sperm is formed between the backbones and the ribs. It literally says that, and this guy's going on about our science. I drop all this on my debates with the mongrels.
It says that unmarried women, women who are divorced, unless it's for adultery or death, they cannot get remarried. He never answered, why should the children have to suffer like that? And so we see here that once again, he is...
That's such a lame point.
really, exposed a bad scientific error in the Bible. And I mean, I have many references which I can show you here. In fact, let me pull up my little thing over here. Okay, here we go. Pull up my little thing over here. Okay, so now he talked about Aisha. There was all this bodily damage or something like that, if I understood him correctly. But the truth of the matter is there was no damage done to Aisha, which he was saying. And again, it's very sometimes hard to understand what he's saying through all the verbal abuse and insults. But one thing we should also understand is that Jesus had little girls sexually molested in the Bible. Did you know that? This is Book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 18. Now I'm going to spare you all the verbal insults because there's no need for that. But it's very important to point out. Look what the Bible says over here, inside Numbers, chapter 31, verse 18. And we're way off, kind of off topic.
You're way off topic, man.
Because now let's see over here what Moses orders people. It says, kill all the men, women, and children. Basically, now it's in verse 17 over here. It says, now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save the little girls for yourself who have never slept with a man. So
okay, I hope Sam answers this because I get this question thrown at me too, and sometimes I struggle how to answer. So I hope he answers this well.
Question here is, what are those little girls for you to save for, Sam? So, and not only that, but this is only after they have been sexually molested. Because remember, the text over here says, check if they're virgins. Now, I'm not going to walk you through that process. I think you understand what that entails. So first, Moses, and this is an order coming from God, and according to Christians, Jesus is God. So, all those words like filthy pedophiles, all those other words, can we use those same insults here? I think we can. But notice how Sam Shimon is running away from the facts. Muhammad and Moses were successful theocratic prophets. They were warrior prophets. They both conquered the Holy Land. Moses, he basically had Joshua go and do this work for him. And the same style we find in Islam. Muhammad basically had Omar to go and conquer the Holy Land. Exact same thing. Notice Sam Shimon running away from these four facts.
All right, your time's up. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Father, forgive us, Lord. In Jesus' name, forgive us, Lord. All right, Sam.
Hold on, before you time me. I'm going to answer this pervert's attack of the Bible, but make sure he stays on subject because now, like a dog, he's going off topic. But I'm going to answer this so that, unlike him, I'm going to answer. But make sure, because this is what he does. He goes off topic like a filthy coward. That's why I have no respect for him. No one respects him. And that's why I'm treating him like a...
He's 100% correct.
Matthew 7:6. So it's saying, please, do not let this coward run from the topic like the filthy is. Now I'm going to bury him with his argument. Now I'll start timing me. Are you ready?
All right.
Okay. Now, again, this proves that Nadir is like his prophet. He's a pervert who twists scripture to his shame and humiliation. Let me read Numbers 31, 15, 18 to show you how the sick pervert is reading it as if this is about Muhammad, and I'm going to turn the argument against him. Numbers 31, 15 to 18. Moses said to them, have you let all the women live?
Vas, I saw that notice about 20 minutes ago about the zombie thing. I might check it out at the end.
Behold, these, on Balaam's advice, caused the people of Israel to act treacherously against the Lord in the incident of Peor, and so the plague came among the congregation of the Lord.
Okay, Chris,
now,
God bless
kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known man by lying with him. But all the young girls who have not known man, by lying with him, keep alive for himself. Because he's a sick pervert like his God. This is actually God showing compassion to the young girls, because if you had actually read Numbers 31, Numbers 25, the women enticed the men of Israel into sexual orgies, following the sunnah of Muhammad and Allah, in an act of worship of their false god Baal. When God says spare the young virgins, it wasn't because they are perverts like Muhammad who sleep with minors and molest them and then sell them off or hand them to someone else. It's because they were not complicit in the sin of sexual immorality in enticing men to worship the false god Baal, who's now known as Allah, Muhammad's God. It was to spare them and show them mercy.
See, that's too deep for the debates I do with it on Facebook. That's just too deep. They wouldn't get that.
And unlike Allah and his fake prophet, what does Moses say when you find a mature captive woman? Deuteronomy 24, verses 1 to 4. It says, if you find a captive woman, you find her attractive, you give her a month to mourn, she shaves her head, trims her nails, she changes her clothes of captivity, and after a month, you marry her and give her the status of a wife. And when you divorce her because there's something displeasing, you send her off. You do not sell her. She's not your property. Now compare the God of Moses with this pervert's prophet and God. In chapter 4, verse 24, it says, unlawful for you are married women, except those whom your right hands possess, meaning your captives that you have stolen from war. And this is found in Sunan Abu Dawud, number 2150. So I want this pervert to defend his prophet. It says that they found captive women whose husbands were alive and they were beautiful and they didn't want to touch them. But his God said, hey, they are your right hand possession. You can have sex with them even though their husband is alive and sell them off. What a marked contrast with the God of Moses, who says you can't have sex with captive women, especially married ones. You got to marry them and give them the honor of a wife. Then if you divorce them, you let them go. That means Moses' law is better than Muhammad, that pervert. And yet this pervert wants to talk about scientific errors and irreparable damage to girls. What do you do with your filthy religion that allows a man like you to have up to 4 wives and divorce them at will for no legitimate reason?
All right.
Damage to those kids, you pervert.
All right, Nadir, your turn.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, he was not able to defend the scientific error of the Bible. He's just basically engaging in so much verbal abuse. But anyways, let's get back to the text, which he gave some weird, bizarre interpretation. Well, he spared little girls because they weren't guilty in committing all those crimes over here. I don't want to get into the type of wacky quack to refute his wacky quacky interpretations. It's really clear here that these girls were sexually molested. They were checked if they're virgins, and then it said have the little girls for yourself. Now kill all the boys. Those were innocent people too, right, Sam? So your explanation doesn't make sense. But I want to
see, he doesn't answer the question. He throws the question straight back.
Get back to the topic of tonight's debate and to present to you clear evidence why Muhammad is a prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18. So as we can,
I'm not joking, guys. I would have punched him by now.
See, there is a victorious argument which is fomenting. Now, we saw that Muhammad and Moses were great warrior prophets, not just any warrior prophet, but they were successful warrior prophets. We saw that they were both theocrats. We saw that they both conquered the Holy Lands. And
okay, this is the 4th or 5th time he's mentioned this, so he's just attracted them.
So we see many of these similarities. Now, I want to also tell you that what does it mean to be like somebody? Now, if you notice all the thing about raping and right hands possessed, sorry guys, I'm going to put that on the back burner. I got to get to the topic here. So I'm going to ignore a lot of the red herrings and things where we're veering off. You see, it's very important what it means to be like somebody. When you want to be like somebody, it means you match them intrinsically. Intrinsically means something special about that person. Like Donald Trump, you know, he has that talent of making $1 billion in the real estate industry. Now, if I had that, I could say I'm like Donald Trump, you know. So this is, and so if you look at all of those similarities, you know, conquering the Holy Lands, being this great warrior prophet, these are intrinsic characteristics versus something like, they were both Jews, or they both didn't eat pork, or they both.
See, here's the difference between Muhammad and Moses being warlords. Moses didn't do it for personal enrichment. He done it to advance the Jews. Where Muhammad, he does it all for material enrichment. It's all about attaining wealth with. And that's the difference. Moses wasn't after that. He wasn't but Muhammad was.
Ate lamb. These are things which are commonalities or similarities which you can find in many people. So that's why I thought it was very important to point out. And so why this is important is because if you look at Jesus, who he was, Jesus doesn't have any intrinsic quality with Moses. which once again disproves the New Testament. Now, let me take that back, walk that back a little bit. There are some intrinsic qualities between Jesus and Moses, but Muhammad had those same ones. So if you subtract those out, what you are left with is nothing. And that's my challenge for Sam Shimon. Show me one intrinsic quality or attribute between Jesus and Moses which make them similar, and you will never be able to find that. There's only one man who matches Moses intrinsically, like what I've shown you, and that's Muhammad. Go ahead.
Okay, time's up. Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready, Sam. Go ahead.
Okay, Lord willing, I'll come back to his shameless butchering, Numbers 31. He lied like his prophet did. It didn't say what he said, that they were molested, but he's a liar like his prophet. And if he keeps complaining to me about abusing him, I'm going to quote what his filthy prophet said to people, how he abused them and cursed them. But now, let me bury Nadir with his prophet. He wants similarities, right? Notice the coward never went to Deuteronomy 34, 10 to 12, to show us what it means to be like Moses. And here, where we're going to now, hold funeral services for Allah and his messenger. Deuteronomy 34, 10 to 12. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. One criterion, know God face to face. None like him for all the signs and wonders that the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt. So the two criteria to be like Moses, speak to God face to face and do miracles like Moses, right? Where he sent to Pharaoh all his servants to all his land, and for all the mighty power and all the great deeds of terror that Moses did in the sight of Israel. Now get ready to be buried with your prophet Nadir. Number one, quote to us a single verse in the Quran where Allah appeared to Muhammad in a cloud and spoke to him face to face. Exodus 24, verses 9 to 18. Exodus 24, verses 9 to 18. Exodus 33, 7 to 11. It says, the true God came down in a cloud and spoke to Moses as he entered the cloud and spoke to him face to face as a man speaks to his friend. Matthew 17, 5, Nadir. Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. The cloud comes down in front of Jesus with Peter, James, and John, and Moses and Elijah, and they heard a voice from the cloud saying, this is my son whom I love, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. So first challenge, show that your filthy prophet is like Moses in the way that Deuteronomy says he has to be like Moses. Quote a single hadith or Quran where your false God, Allah, appeared in a cloud in front of multitudes of people, in front of Abu Bakr and Umar, and they heard his voice like God did for Moses and the Father did for Jesus. Secondly, show us the miracles that Muhammad did that are similar to Moses. And I hope you're stupid enough to bring up the splitting the moon, because I'm going to split your brain cells if you do. I want you to show us where Muhammad did.
Guys, I just heard from Tricky. He's okay. He's got 2 weeks to go till his operation. His lump in his throat is still really bad though. But he's still with us, so prayers for Tricky.
Any miracles similar to Moses. When chapter 28, verse 48 of your fake Quran, it says, the people asked your fake prophet, how come signs are not given him like they were given to Moses? So even the people at Muhammad's time knew your quack prophet didn't have any signs like Moses. But Jesus, on the other hand, much like Moses, did many signs and wonders, all of which your fake Quran confirms.
He's been waiting about 2 months now, and his tumor's just growing bigger. He's in a really bad way, guys. So say some prayers for Tricky. I think he needs them.
For example, in chapter 3, verse 49 of your fake Quran, Jesus fashions a bird from clay, breathes into it, and it comes to life. Jesus gave sight to the blind, cleansed lepers, gave life to the dead. None of which your fake prophet could do, all of which is identical to your fake.
As a matter of fact, Muhammad ran away from a beggar, a blind beggar. He ran from a blind man.
In the Quran. So Jesus is not just like Moses, he's like your fake God.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Time's up. All right. Okay.
Christianity has already been refuted. I'm sorry, go ahead. Let me start again. Yeah. So as I said, you were not able to defend the scientific error of the Bible. He never told us tonight, why must these children have to suffer? What sense did that make? So when he was attacking the story about the divorce and remarriage, which actually is a red herring, it doesn't prove anything in terms of who that prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18. It's just your personal interpretation here is. But notice how he has ran away from that. He has ran away from the similarities which are based on fact between Moses and Muhammad. And now
he's pointed out the difference in similarities, but this guy just doesn't want to hear it.
Well, remember, I told you in the beginning, never, never will the Christian present to you fact. Never. It'll only present to you personal interpretations. Zigzagging across Bible verses, the Bible means.
Oh, and you're not doing that? I really don't like this guy. I better shut up.
This, and the Bible means that, and the Bible says this, and the Bible says that. But when you actually go back and look, you will see it is nothing explicitly written. Now, I will challenge you here tonight.
Oh, he keeps saying that.
Muhammad,
he keeps saying that, and Sam answers his questions, and he just totally ignores it and brings up the same point again. This is what they do. You watch this debate goes for an hour and a half, and you watch. This guy will never answer one question of Sam's. You watch and see.
Actually does pass Deuteronomy 34 in the passage which you quoted. That's fine, but I want to make it.
Good night, Shawnee. God bless, mate.
That when we talked about Deuteronomy 18:18, you know, that God will send a prophet like Moses. Is it explicitly written in the Bible that Deuteronomy 34 is some criteria for the prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18? Can you take 10 seconds of my time, Sam, and answer that question? Is it explicitly written like that?
You want him right now?
Yeah, go take 10 seconds of my time.
I'm not stopping it, so
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, very easy, because again, you can't answer, so you're resorting to stupidity. Can I read it? Or are you going to bark?
Go ahead, Sam.
Stop going, because it's disgusting. Stop licking the black stone and going. Listen, here it is. Deuteronomy 34. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses. So there's the exact words, a prophet like Moses. So yes, it's right there, because it says, I'm going to raise a prophet like you. So in the same book, it says, here's what a prophet like Moses is. So you just got buried. Go back to your rebuttal, so then I can come and bury you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, now, dude. I could stop it for you, so you still got a minute and 15 seconds now, dude.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
That's my point. What Christians present to you is not in the Bible. You see, nowhere is it explicitly written that Deuteronomy 34 is.
He just showed where it's explicitly written. See how he ignores the point Sam makes? These guys are so dishonest.
Some kind of test or some criteria for the prophet of Deuteronomy.
And he's so smug, he thinks he's winning this debate. He really thinks he's winning this debate.
18:18. This is their false interpretation. Well, I can't say it's a false interpretation. Hypothetically, it could be possible, but it's not written. And so this is very important. Everything I present to you will be explicitly written. Now let's read the passage over there again. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses. Who are they talking about? It's talking about Joshua. Joshua was a warrior prophet. Thank you, which is exactly like Muhammad, whom the Lord knew face to face. So now what Sam did, he spun this to make it, what you have to see God face to face. So now what we are dealing with is an interpretation of the Bible. We are 2 levels deep of personal interpretations. So you had the first interpretation, whether this was some type of criteria for Deuteronomy 18:18. Well, maybe not. That's an interpretation. The second interpretation, whom the Lord knew face to face, really.
Okay. All right, Sam.
Okay, now before you time me, I want cross-X, because this is a joke. He's not answering anything, and I want to bury him in cross-X. So make sure we do cross-examination. Okay?
Oh, dude, I got to go take my heart medicine first. But okay.
This guy, he's already being humiliated like a clown, and I want to embarrass his prophet. But make sure you do cross-X so he can stop barking. But now, let me just quote his falsehood again. He keeps on about children. I guess he didn't hear me. When your filthy religion allows you to divorce your wives at whim and have up to 4 wives, show me the studies, what it says about a man with multiple wives having multiple children exposed to multiple women as their mother, and the damage it does on them psychologically. And in your filthy religion, you can divorce a woman at will. There are no restrictions, which means that you're doing greater damage to these kids, especially if you marry a 9-year-old minor and violator like your filthy prophet did. But let's come back to the issue. I don't know how
Yeah.
he spun Deuteronomy 34:10-12. Let me read it again. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses. Oh, that's Joshua, warrior prophet.
And Vas, you know one of the evidence you got the Holy Spirit in you? When you go to do something bad, you just get this, oh no, don't do that, don't do that. I never used to think like that until I become Christian. I just do it anyway. But now if I go to do something I shouldn't, I think about it first because I know it's the Holy Spirit sort of saying, don't do this.
I don't know where he got Joshua here. Let's read it again. There has not risen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, none like him for all the signs and the wonders that the Lord did. So he keeps spinning it, but he got buried with his prophet because he can't get around this. And he says, well, seeing God face to face means seeing God actually. I didn't make that up. Here it is, Exodus 33:7-11. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far off from the camp, and he called it the tent of meeting. And everyone who sought the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise up, and each would stand at his tent door and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. When Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent. The Lord would speak with Moses. Verse 11, thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. You got buried, Nadir, so let me repeat my challenge again. Show us in your Quran or Hadith, Allah coming in a cloud, speaking face to face with Muhammad, like he did with Moses, like the Father did with Jesus. Show us the miracles of Muhammad that resemble Moses, because that's the criteria. And no whining and no
point. Great point. Show us the miracles of Muhammad like Moses did. Wow.
Like a silly, retarded stone kisser is going to deny those facts. You got buried. Hopefully you do better. Anytime you go off topic, I'm going to embarrass you. And let me know when I can do cross-X to further embarrass this guy.
Okay. All right. Just 1 second here. Let me go ahead and clear up start the 3 minutes again. Are you ready, Nat? Are you ready, Nat, dude?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and start.
He is conceding tonight that the Bible contradicts modern science. He knows that if people really took Matthew,
straight off the bat, not answering the question. There you go. So dishonest.
Passage 1032 or something about only divorces in the case of adultery or death, that will cause the children to suffer needlessly. But he said, but your Quran, your Islam is also same thing because it has polygamy, it has all these things, but he's never really presented any studies showing that polygamy causes dangers or anything. He's just, once again, remember he can never present facts. The whole Christian presentation, whether you're talking about Aisha, it's all personal interpretation. It is not based on fact.
And that's what everyone does, their own personal interpretation. He's going on like this is a stupid thing to do. But if people come to the same interpretation, it must be right. So he keeps going like personal interpretation's a bad thing. It means you've got a bit of wisdom, you egghead.
And this is not coming, when you talk about Aisha and things like that, this is not coming from the Quran. This is from the Hadith. So once again, excuse me, we see that the Quran is once again in complete harmony with modern science because the whole issue of, prepubescent girls, this is not in the Quran at all. Okay, as far as marrying them. So what's interesting here is that their Bible does have scientific errors, and that's why Christians are running away.
Look, the moderator up top, he's laughing because he knows this guy's talking bullshit.
Christians like David Wood and people like that, they don't want to debate that. But so the Quran, with the story he was quoting, is actually correcting the scientific error of the Bible. But anyways, let me get back to the Hadith, which I was actually showing about marriage. He wanted to bring up about marriage, prepubescent girls. What does the Hadith? Because again, this is really not inside the Quran. This is in the Hadith. But if you want to show scientific problems in the Hadith, no problem. We can discuss that. It says here that the woman is married for 4 reasons. For her partner.
Hey,
yeah.
Could I ask you a question?
No, I got to continue my 3 minutes here, please.
I'll give you your time back. I'll give you your time back. Okay.
Go ahead.
Now you said the the Quran never talks about marrying prepubescent girls.
That's correct.
Now, from my understanding, chapter 65, verse 4 says that that when you divorce a woman who no longer menstruates, you got to wait. The iddah is 3 months. And those who have not menstruated, meaning girls who have not yet which are prepubescent girls, and so that and Ibn Kathir and all of them say that what this means is girls who are prepubescent who have been married, divorced. You have to wait 3 months before you remarry them. So how can you say the Quran doesn't encourage the marriage?
Okay, I'll explain to you. When we look inside, there are people who are already marrying girls who are at that age who are as a conquered land. So this is rules for everybody. But as far as whether you can and go out and marry a specific age group, that's not in the Quran. So this is an argument from silence. It's talking about here's what you do in the situation where you have a prepubescent girl. When you talk about the marriage of Aisha, this is not found in the Quran or anything that is found in the Hadith. But I want to go back and clarify, and if you could give my time back.
Okay. All right, I'll give you your time. You go back. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but we're
you got a minute and
topic. Okay, thanks. So it says over here for the property, she's married for her property, her status, her beauty, her religion. But it says get the one who is religious. Once again, complete harmony with modern science. Because if you look for a woman who's got good religion, well, most of the time they're gonna either be at least in their teens or older than that. So this is once again, this is in complete harmony with science, and the Quran is in complete harmony with science, but the Bible, according.
Wow, Yemen's declared war as well. That's where all the intelligentsia from the Arabs go. They run the Yemen empire, and they declared war. Wow.
Princess Shimon, he has conceded. It contradicts modern science, and it causes needless suffering to innocent children. Now let's get back to Deuteronomy 34. So look at how he twists and puts his own interpretation. Now we're dealing with an interpretation of an interpretation, proving to you Christians cannot bring facts to you. It says, whom God knows face to face. God knows everybody face to face, but he turned into what this verse really means is like God coming down in the cloud and Moses saw him. That's what it really means. Thank you for your personal interpretation, Sam, but that's not what the text here says. And this verse is talking about Joshua,
all right.
warrior prophet.
Your time is up. I did give you your time up. I gave you the time I took for my question. So
okay, Hussein.
All right, Sam.
Hussein, I want to do cross-X now because he's a joke. Now we want to cross-X. We're asking him and he asks me.
Okay.
He's man enough to do that. See, look at the coward. He's now getting shaky. You're not running away. We're doing cross-X.
1 minute back and forth. That's how we should do it.
I'm gonna have to go. Well, hold on. You give me 10 minutes of me asking him questions. He can then ask me, and then I'm going to flip it on him, right? So we can do that?
Well, how do you say that again?
Cross-X, where I can ask him 10, 15 minutes, then he can ask me 10, 15 minutes. Can I start?
Are you willing? Is that good for you, Nando?
Well, if it's a chicken, he'll run.
Okay, 1 second.
Well, we should do 1 minute back and forth, so uninterrupted. You can't interrupt.
Yeah, 1 minute back and forth because this guy will lay out so much bullshit in 15 minutes that it'll completely bluff everyone. Well, not bluff everyone, but complete waste of time. Do it 1 minute at a time so they can catch each other out. And you know Sam's not going to get caught out, so it should be good for us.
The person for 1 minute.
Cross-X.
Okay, so let's 10 minutes, and then I'll do my cross-examination for 10 minutes.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to cross-examine you for about 10, 12 minutes. You ready?
Okay. 10 minutes, okay.
Okay.
10 minutes now?
Diane, I may as well get the app. Like, I've been thinking about doing it for a while. But, yeah, I'm thinking about getting Rumble because YouTube's cornering me. They're leaving me nowhere to go. They're really hassling me.
Yeah, let's go. You got to unmute him, though.
Okay. Yeah, he's muted.
No, you got to unmute him so I can ask him so he can answer.
Oh.
That's cross-X.
Yep.
Okay, so you ask and then I mute him now. You ask and then I unmute him to answer? Or just so I leave it open right now?
Why are you muting
him? But no interrupting.
Calm down. Don't be scared. I'll embarrass you. Okay. Unmute him, Hussein, so he can hear me. Okay, number one. So you muted him again.
I unmuted him. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, now Nadir, I want you to give me pre-Quranic evidence that Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered Muhammad. Give me the source. Before Quran, before the Hadith. Give me one source.
Quran before the Hadith?
Yeah, because we have a lot of historical documentation.
Interrupt me, Sam. Let me. I think it's dumb. It's a dumb question because we have genetic evidence. I think genetic evidence is good enough. We've shown that both the Jews and the Arabs.
You're ranting, Nadir. I'm not going to let you rant. You're not going to eat my time. Let me make the question again. Don't eat my time. Don't rant, because I know you want to eat up my time like a coward. Let me make it clear for you again. Just because Arabs and Jews are related doesn't mean the Arabs are Ishmaelites and that Ishmael settled in the Kaaba. I know you're too stupid to see that. Let me ask you the question again. Give me one pre-Quranic archaeological proof Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered the ancestors of Muhammad. Very simple. So if it's a dumb question, give me a dumb answer because you're dumb enough to do it.
Well, I don't know if any kind of evidence like that exists, but I think that it is irrelevant because we know that.
So the answer is no. So go to my second question.
You gotta let me speak for 1 minute.
You said you don't have it, so let's go to second question. You don't need my time.
Wait a second. You can't just shut me out. I gotta get 1 minute. You get one.
You just said no, so don't eat up my time. Go to the second question.
Oh, exactly right.
Genealogy of Muhammad. Show me the genealogy of Muhammad in the Hadith. Genealogy.
Well, we do have a genealogy, but I don't. Now look, I don't have it with me.
I have it.
Okay, go ahead. You can.
You want me to read it for you?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
But then it can't eat up my time because I'm doing your work for you. I'm going to read it.
No, okay, but I think. Wait a second. If I could go back, we should have 1 minute to talk each person.
Here, you don't understand the nature of cross-examination. I got 10 minutes, so if I have to stop my time. Okay, you just ate my time. You know that, right? By your ranting, you're eating my time, which is a tactic. Okay, let me read the genealogy, which won't count against my time because you don't have it. I have it. I'll read it for you. Ready? Okay, you sure you're ready, Nadir?
Off the time.
Okay. This is the life of the Prophet Muhammad, Al-Sirah al-Nabawiyah, Volume 1, pages 50 to 52, and this comes from Ibn Kathir, 700 years after the death of your Prophet. Let me read it. It's lengthy, so that you then try to explain it away. Okay. There is no question of Adnan being of the line of Ishmael, son of Abraham, upon both of whom be peace. What dispute there is relates to the number of forebears there were from Adnan to Ishmael, according to the various sources. At one end of the spectrum, there is the extreme view that considers there to have been 40. This is the view of Christians and Jews who adopted it from the writings of Rakhia, the clerk of Armiya bin Halqiyah, supposedly Jeremiah, as we will relate. Some authorities maintain the 30, others 20, yet more 15, 10, 9, or 7. Now, just to make it easy for you, Nadir, I'm going to read this part. And this is why Malik, God bless him, did not enthuse over the attempt at tracing genealogy back before Adnan, meaning they could only confidently trace it to Adnan. Okay. Al-Suhaili commented further, we have merely discussed tracing back these lines according to with the school of thought of those scholars who favor and do not disapprove of it, men such as Ibn Ishaq, al-Bukhari, al-Zubair bin Baqar, al-Tabari, and others. As for Malik, God have mercy on him, he expressed disapproval when asked about someone tracing his descent back to Adam and commented, whence comes the knowledge of that? Where do you get this knowledge from? When he was asked about tracing back to Ishmael, listen to this, Nadir, these are your scholars. Tracing back to Ishmael, he expressed similar disapproval, asking, who could prove such an information? Who could prove such an information? Malik also disliked tracing the genealogy of the prophets, such as saying Abraham, son of so-and-so, and Al-Muyatti stated this in his book. Al-Suhaili commented also that Malik's viewpoint was analogous to what was related of Urwa bin al-Zubayr, who is reported to have said, we have found no one who knows the line between Adnan and Ishmael. No one, Nadir, between Adnan and Ishmael. It is reported that Ibn Abbas said, between Adnan and Ishmael, there were 30 ancestors who are unknown. Ibn Abbas also reputed to have said, when he traced back lines of descent as far as Adnan, the genealogists have lied twice or thrice. And that skepticism is even more characteristic of Ibn Masud, these are all companions of your Prophet, whose attitude was like that of Ibn Abbas. Umar ibn al-Khattab stated, we carry back the genealogy only as far as Adnan. That's Umar. Abdullah bin Masud, Ibn Abbas. Abu Omar bin Abdul Bar stated in his book, Al-Anba, Al-Marifat, Qabil al-Ru'wa, that Ibn Lahiya related from Abu al-Aswad that he had heard Urwa bin al-Zubair. We never found anyone who knew genealogy past Adnan nor past Kahtan unless they were using conjecture. Conjecture. Abu al-Aswad stated that he had heard from Abu Bakr bin Abu Khaytham, one of the very most knowledgeable men of the poetry and the genealogy of Quraysh. We never knew anyone with information going back beyond Ma'ad bin Adnan. No one, whether relating poetry or other knowledge. Abu Omar said that there was a group of the predecessors, including Abdullah bin Masud, Amr bin Maymun al-Azdi, Muhammad bin Kab al-Qurayzi, who when they recited the verse from the Quran, and those after them who no one but God knows, would comment, the genealogists lied. Finally, Abu Umar, God have mercy on him, stated, we hold the meaning of this to differ from their interpretation. What is implied is that regarding those who claim to enumerate Adam's descendants, no one knows them except God who created them. But as for the lines of descent of the Arabs, the scholars conversant with their history and genealogy were aware of and learned by heart about the people and the major tribes, differing in some details of that. Now, I can give you more, but you just read, your prophet's companions say, if anyone goes beyond Adnan, they're liars. No one knows. We don't have any conclusive proof of a genealogy connecting Adnan to Ishmael. So I want to know, what proof do you have that Muhammad is from Ishmael? Which son of Ishmael? Because according to your own genealogists who contradict each other, some say he was from Nebaioth, others say he was from Kedar. They couldn't even agree. Was it Nebaioth or Kedar? How do you know? Prove he's a son of Ishmael in order to prove he is from their brethren. Answer the question now.
Absolutely. So we can know from science today. Science has confirmed that the Jews and the Arabs are really the children of Abraham. Says, and it goes on. I'll give you this reference over
here. Ishmael.
MD. So let's talk about this. I mean, we know.
Read it. Your source. Show me where it says in your source, Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered the Arabs there. Quote it. Read it.
Okay, so this is something which we know as far as a particular.
Read it.
Hold on. As far as getting a specific hadith, which are talked about.
Forget hadith. Your source. You're not listening. This source you're putting up in front of our face.
Yes.
Quote the paragraph where it says, and Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered the Arabs, the ancestors of Muhammad.
This supports, see, Sam, this supports exactly what we know from history. This
is the answer, no, you can't?
Can you not see this supports what we're saying?
No, it doesn't. Because no one's denying Jews and Arabs are related.
Explain how is it that the Jews and Arabs
No one denies, because Abraham had 6 other sons from Keturah who also fathered Arabs.
Their children is what you're saying, right?
Listen to what I'm saying. The same Bible that you're twisting to your shame, Abraham's 6 other sons from Keturah who also fathered. So to say that Arabs are related to Jews is not the argument. What we're looking for is Ishmael being in Mecca, fathering those Arabs. The answer is Muhammad. Can you show me where it says that there?
I don't have that hadith with.
And that's the gist of what he's been saying all night. And this guy here, he's dodging the question again.
Me right now, but definitely.
You don't have a hadith that says that, right?
I don't know. I'll have to go take a look. Why don't you?
Okay, now yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I respect you don't know. Okay, now third question, because
I feel that is irrelevant. I feel
it's irrelevant when you have to prove that he's an Ishmaelite to be a brother like Moses. Come on, man. Don't play these games.
Be a rewrite of history. Right now, you got to go through all the books like Encyclopedia Britannica. You got to rewrite all.
Show me any quotation from Encyclopedia Britannica. You're eating my time with your game.
Commonly,
show me. Listen to my question, because you're playing
right here in front of you. This is from Encyclopedia.
Show me where Encyclopedia Britannica says Ishmael settled in Mecca and fathered the Quraysh, the ancestors of Muhammad.
Okay, so you wanted like Ishmael fathered the Arabs, and from that lineage comes Quraysh.
Went to Mecca like you.
See, he's not saying, well, you'll see it in Britannica chapter this and that. He's not answering.
You want to hear the question?
And And so I would think you would need to rewrite this, if I understand your
Let's
argument.
rewrite it. It doesn't say that Ishmael settled in
Well,
Mecca.
we do accept that Ishmael, commonly regarded by both Jews and Arabs as a progenitor of the Arabs, is considered a messenger or a prophet. So you're okay with that?
Encyclopedia Britannica, which is a secular source, thinks that Ishmael's a prophet. You're joking, right?
Considered a messenger.
Who? Encyclopedia Britannica?
My point to you is, I can go and do the homework you're asking me to do, Sam, but
No,
look
you
at
can't.
all.
I've done it for you. There's none. So let's go to the other question. Can we go to the other question? Because you're eating my time.
Okay, go ahead.
Got 1 minute left, you guys.
So you didn't take time away from me, right, for reading that
I
language?
didn't take the time for the genealogy thing.
Okay, now, according to the very books of Moses, which you're quoting from, they're a unit, whether you like it or not. Can you show me where in the Torah does it deny that speaking face to face means God appearing in a cloud, speaking directly face to face with Moses, like I showed you in Exodus 33, 7 to 11, Exodus 24, and Numbers 12, verse 6 to 8, because you said, well, God is face to face with everyone. You distorted the meaning in the context of the books that you're citing, and show me where your God appeared in the cloud and spoke face to face to Muhammad.
Okay. Well, so this is going back to your interpretation of an interpretation of the Bible. But actual text says, whom the Lord knew face to face. All this other stuff you're giving us is your interpretation package. So
how? When I'm quoting the same author.
Whom the Lord
You guys. That cross-exam. Now, dude, you get 10 minutes to cross-examine Sam.
Awesome. Okay, so
Okay, wait 1 second. Let me start it. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I said tonight that you will never be able to give any facts. In Deuteronomy 34, where I wanted in these explicit words that first of all, Muhammad passes Deuteronomy 34.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, but let me finish.
Don't make an assertion. Ask me questions.
But I do feel like it is irrelevant because there's really, do you know of an explicit passage which says Deuteronomy 34 is the criteria for Deuteronomy 18:18? It's possible. Where does it say that?
The same book that you're quoting in Deuteronomy 18 goes on at the conclusion of the book to explain what a prophet like Moses is. It's only you thinking it's the Quran that's haphazard and has no context.
So the answer is your interpretation.
No, let me finish.
He's answering your interpretation, you hypocrite.
Answer you. But now let's go back to Deuteronomy 18, because there it's going to further bear you. It says, as you asked of the Lord on the day of Horeb, when you said, let us not hear this voice anymore, but you speak to us. Now, since I can't ask you, I want you to now deal with the fact that the context is speaking of a prophet like Moses in order to fulfill the request of the Israelites who said,
back, Sam. Now this is my cross-examination period. So as we can see, it's possible that Deuteronomy 34 could have been that. It's possible, but we see that this is not explicitly stated in the Bible, and that's a problem.
Ask your question. Stop pontificating. Ask your question.
Okay, so it says, now we saw from Prophet Muhammad, there's many intrinsic, notice that word, intrinsic similarities. They are both warrior prophets, not just warrior prophets, but successful warrior prophets.
You're pontificating again. Get to your question.
We saw that they were successful warrior prophets. They both were theocrats. They both, what's it called?
You're pontificating. Ask me the question. It's not time to preach.
Lawgivers. They're both warrior prophets.
You're pontificating. You're eating your time. You want to eat your time as a dummy? Go ahead. Ask me the question.
Show me one person in history who matches Moses intrinsically like Muhammad does.
Okay, let me answer.
Give me one person.
Your question. You want me to answer?
Yes,
nowhere in Deuteronomy does it say the criterion to be like Moses is to be a warrior prophet. You're lying. You're spinning it. It's not there. You added it. So unless you can show me a verse where it says to be like Moses, is to be a warrior prophet, you're a liar. And now let me show you why Muhammad is not like Moses.
I'm gonna get you. Don't worry.
Here you go.
Okay, you are now conceding to the fact. Okay, I will agree. If you look at Deuteronomy 18:18, it doesn't really say you have to be a warrior.
Just repeat yourself. Good job. Yeah.
No, it doesn't explicitly say that. All we are left with, if you look at and take the Bible explicitly, is that it talks about that there will be a prophet like like
Ask
Moses.
this question, and you're eating up your time.
I will ask you a second time. I will. Is there one person you know in history who matches Moses with Muhammad?
Yes.
Like we see. Who is that person? Yeah, go ahead.
Moses condemns Muhammad as a fake prophet because he.
You're not asking the question. Give me the name of the person.
Yes. Do you want to keep barking or no?
Who is it? You're running away from the question.
Muhammad's God and destroyer, because let me explain. Jesus, like Moses, spoke to God face to face. And I gave you the reference. Jesus, like Moses, established a new covenant. Jesus, like Moses, established a priesthood. Jesus, like Moses, offered sacrifice. Jesus, like Moses, did miracles. Jesus, like Moses, is a lawgiver. And on it goes. And like Moses, when Jesus was 2 years old,
Okay, let me
Jesus, like Moses, bearing Muhammad. Praise Jesus, Muhammad's God. But
okay, you're saying okay. Now you're saying okay. Well, you see, it's Jesus because Jesus did miracles. Yeah. So, but Muhammad also did miracles too, as you read in the Hadith. And
Surah 28:48. You're pontificating. Surah 28:48 says you're lying because it's Surah 28:48. It says Surah 28:48. It says.
Hold on, Sam. You can't keep interrupting me. This is my.
No, you're preaching. This is the time to ask.
No, this is my.
28:48. Let me answer your question.
Sam, I'm telling you.
28:48 says.
Okay, you're not.
Did not do any sign like Moses. You're a liar. Go ahead.
Taking my time. Okay, now I want you to take that off and give me that extra minute you took away. Look, now
don't let him preach. We're supposed to ask questions.
Courageously come forward and admitted that Muhammad did miracles in the Hadith.
Surah 28:48 says you're lying and your Hadith are lying.
So that is once again his personal interpretation. That
Let me read it. But when the truth has come to them from us, they say, why is he not given the like of what was given to Moses? Did they not disbelieve in that which was given to Moses of old? They say two kinds of magic, each helping the other. And they say, verily, in both we are disbelievers. So you just admit your Hadith contradicts.
Nowhere in the text, you are admitting, Sam. Nowhere. Okay, now, let me have my time. Sam, let me have my time. You are admitting. Sam, allow me to have my time now. It does not explicitly state in the text that Muhammad never did any miracles. Now,
but when the truth has come to them from us, they say,
we can't have this.
Why is he not given the like, same language, the like of what was given to Moses? They did not disbelieve in that which was given to Moses. They say two kinds of magic. So now, again, you can prove that contradicts the Quran.
Now, come on, this is not fair.
Nadir, what's not fair is don't preach. You got to ask. You're not asking. You're preaching.
Okay. You want to take my time and okay. So as
ask
we can
what I ask you. Ask.
Okay.
You're preaching.
Now allow me to talk. Okay.
No, ask, not talk. Ask.
Listen. Now David Wood has came and admitted Muhammad did miracles as we see in the Hadith. So I was hoping you would do the same thing, but you did not.
He's saying open chapter 17, verse 59 for me. Because he's trying to play David Wood, like Brown's grandmother. How much time does he have?
You may let me talk. You are obviously...
How much time does he have? Because another cross-sex is coming.
So you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, you took all... Okay,
and then you're not... Okay, hold on. Calm down for a second.
No, this is my time. This is my time.
You're not listening. We'll give you more time. I'll give you 6 more minutes.
No.
I'll give you 6 more minutes, but you're not listening. Ask questions.
He's not letting me talk.
Preaching.
It's my time.
Your time to ask, not preach. You know the rules?
No, I am asking you a question here.
I'll give you
so
6
you brought up
minutes.
Jesus. Jesus has no intrinsic comparison between between Jesus and Moses. I want you to just give me one. Now, don't take all my time. I want you to give me one intrinsic value or quality between Jesus and Moses. Just give me one.
He already answered that.
God spoke to Moses face to face, and the Father spoke to Jesus face to face. Let me give you a second one.
That's not intrinsic.
Yes, it is. Deuteronomy 34:10. Deuteronomy 34:10.
Intrinsic
like Moses, whom the Lord spoke face to face.
Good night, guys.
Let me tell you what intrinsic means, okay?
Oh, next question.
Intrinsic means a quality or an attribute of a person.
And the attribute of a person is seeing God face to face. Go to next one.
Okay, the text actually says whom the Lord knew face to face. It does not say that God. Now look at his interpretation of an interpretation.
We're not preaching. We're preaching down here.
Hold on a second. The text does not say that God, that I have to speak to God face to face. But anyway, this is not an intrinsic attribute. So you fail.
Because
and you have a third time.
Here, you're preaching.
Moses and Jesus.
Ask the question.
He failed.
You can't have cross-examination.
But there's no intrinsic value between the two.
I'm not the same.
Only one
who's saying? Who's saying?
We're almost over, okay, guys? I'm gonna let you finish out this time, and then
I'm gonna give you another an intrinsic value between Jesus and Moses. There is none. Give it to me.
Let me give you the other one.
Yeah.
Moses instituted a covenant. Jesus instituted a covenant. Moses functioned as a priest in 6. Jesus was a priest.
Okay,
question.
So that you have failed miserably to show a quality, an attribute.
Yeah, miserably I failed. Michael Brown failed. David was wrong for me.
Both of them were successful warriors. Being a successful warrior is an intrinsic attribute.
Time up, Lucia, then? Does he
seconds. I'm gonna let him finish it up.
Be that person. Okay, Jesus cannot be that person because, as so from Sam, there is nothing intrinsic.
Not smacking in the mouth.
Right? He's not asking questions. He's
completely different. So intrinsic
what
means
is that, right? He's preaching. You can't respect the rules.
Yeah, this is an attribute which a person has, like being a successful warrior. That's a genetic trait. That's an attribute. That's what I'm asking you. Show me the likeness in Jesus. What is it?
Okay, is this time up? Because notice saying,
try again. Show it to me.
Who's saying I'm trying to get your attention because this guy's preaching?
I know.
Okay.
I want to be fair. You guys, okay, guys. Now, because of my work situation, I got to go to work here in a few minutes. So what I'm going to do?
Come back tonight to finish the cross X. I want you to come back tonight, Nadir. We're going to finish the cross X. You better show up tonight.
Yeah, let's do it because you're.
Okay.
Don't bark,
Okay,
guys, I'm out too. God bless.
Since I got both of you guys here, what I was going to do is give you 6 minutes each, okay? And